Smith, and as we get ready for the drop of the puck, it's time for a key to the game, presented by Shelbourne Knee Center, as always. And for that, here is Nick Olchek.
Oh, thank you, as always, Andrew. Well put, as eloquently as anybody, as you often do. I think the key to the game tonight is going to have to be the Indy Fuel defenseman. Now, I know we talked about him a little bit earlier in the pregame show about the defense being active, but I also think defensively it's going to be very important. You look at the last game the Indy Fuel played, 2 breakaway goals allowed, 1 on the penalty kill and another one towards the end of the game in which TJ Hensick was able to find the back of the net. So it just comes to awareness, having their head on a swivel, head up, and making sure you know if there are guys trying to stretch in behind you that you back off. Now, that's not to tell the Indy Fuel defensemen to be passive, because we want them to be aggressive, especially defending off the rush. But I think they just got to have their head on a swivel a little bit more, and you can guarantee that that's one thing Doug Christensen was highlighting and talking about coming into this game.
All right, we're getting ready for the face-off. The Fuel, it's military night. The Fuel wearing camouflage uniforms this evening. And the Iowa Heartlanders in the white uniforms. Starting lineup for this evening's game for the Fuel. Actually, we'll start with the Iowa Heartlanders. Joe Widmar is going to be in between Jonathan Dabian and Jack Billings. On D, Fedor Gordeev and Adrian Beraldo are the defensemen. And the goaltender, of course, Hunter Jones. For the Fuel, Jordan Schneider and Ryan Zulsdorf will be the D. And up front, Seamus Malone, Brent Gates, and Spencer Watson. Doug Christensen putting the lines through a blender here, as Riley McKay, Diego Cuglietta, and Chad Yetman will skate together tonight, as will Cedric Lacroix, Tommy Apap, and Liam Folks. So changing things up a little bit to try to get a little bit more offense for the Fuel. Our keys to the game were presented by Shelbourne Knee Center. At Shelbourne Knee Center, we focus only on knees. Specializing enables us to find better ways to get you off the sidelines and back to living, working, and playing the way you want. Our outcomes-based treatment strategies come from 38 years of research and follow-up with our patients. We use that insight to help you return to being you faster and better with long-term outcomes. We only do knees, and it shows. Call 888-FIX-KNEE or visit fixknee.com for more. From the Shelbourne Knee Center, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, time for the drop of the puck. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
When it comes to Hondas, your Central Indiana Honda dealers have plenty to choose from. The fan-favorite CR-V, the sleek and stylish Civic Sedan, the extra-efficient Insight Hybrid. Kelley Blue Book award-winning stars, all built with hometown pride and made right here in Indiana. Test drive a new Honda today and experience these favorites for yourself. Or shop the latest offers at CentralIndianaHondaDealers.com. What are you waiting for?
If you're looking for an exciting night of hockey, visit the Indiana Farmers Coliseum to help cheer our Indy Fuel to victory. If you're looking to score a great deal on business insurance, look no further than Indiana Farmers Insurance. The Indy Fuel chose Indiana Farmers Insurance because they wanted a local business that understands local business. It's a partnership that's truly worthy of a hat trick. To find an independent Indiana Farmers Insurance agent near you, visit IndianaFarmers.com.
Back to the action with Nick Olchek and Andrew Smith with Indy Fuel Hockey.
Ronald Walker with our national anthem this evening. It's military nights, and Mr. Walker, a member of our armed forces. So we've got our ceremonial puck drop before this one begins, and this is a busy stretch for the Fuel, and I think you mentioned, Nick, the start's important, but also just getting your game legs under you, as this is just game 4 in essentially a 3-week span.
Well, look, early in the season, It's a puzzle for the coaching staff. And for Doug Christensen, it's the evaluation process of new players, of players who were here last year. What can those guys do differently than they did last year? Did they improve in the offseason to where guys that maybe didn't play on the power play can or have an improved role or more responsibility? And also still trying to get a feel for the new players. Guys on the back end like Kirill Chaika and Ryan Zulsdorf, who was here the majority of last year, but can these guys have bigger roles? Can they change their roles? And an opportunity for some of these players to really prove themselves early in the year to Doug Christensen.
And so the Fuel will move from right to left as you picture this rink in your mind's eye. The Heartlanders from left to right. The Fuel win the draw, and away we go. Jordan Schneider quickly ahead to Seamus Malone. Along the left wing boards, wraps it around for Brent Gates behind the net. It's played off of his stick. And Fedor Gordeev plays it up to neutral ice. Settled down, Joe Widmar across the line. Chips it forward, and it's settled down by Malone. Out to the line, knocked down, and Malone gets it back. Tried to play it forward. It comes to Zulsdorf across the line. Top of the right wing circle. He shoots, deflected wide, and a wraparound attempt. Couldn't quite find the stick for the Fuel, so Indy will track it down.
Partner, early opportunity for the Indy Fuel. That was Ryan Zulsdorf who jumped into the play and carried the puck into the offensive zone. So a good start for the Indy Fuel on the transition.
Brent Gates up top. Cycles it low, looking for Chaika, a little too far for him. And Fedor Gordeev plays the puck for Iowa. Zach Reimers up the far side, loses it at the Fuel line, but gets it back. Plays it into the zone of the left wing corner, wraps it around to an open wing where Golka hops on it for Iowa. Plays it back up to the point for Constantino, but it's picked off by Lacroix, and the Fuel want transition the other way. Give and go with Fulks, doesn't quite connect. Lee holds it in at the line, able to sidestep a check into the right wing corner. Mike Lee pivots to the forehand. Back diagonal, was looking for Chaika, but ended up being picked off by his own man, Lacroix. And that allowed Iowa to get to the puck and clear.
And you could tell at the last second, Cedric Lacroix was trying to get that right skate out of the way so that way the pass could go through back to the point. Would have worked out really well if the pass would have got there, because it looked like Iowa was a little broken down in their own coverage, but a chance missed, and the Fuel will have to defend.
Fuel with the puck in their own zone. Chaika up the near boards, looking for Lacroix, and now here's a shot from along the goal line. Save is made on the shot by Diego Cuglietta, and Iowa is able to play it back to the Indy line. New face for the Fuel, Jacob Laguerriere, a Rockford IceHogs contracted player. Starts the rush. Cuglietta tries to play it in front. It comes all the way through. Backdoor feed. Doesn't go. Comes out to the point for Laguerriere. He wrist one on goal and scores! Jacob Laguerriere from the left point. Wrist one through traffic. And it finds the back of the net. Laguerriere with his first professional goal, coming just 2 minutes and 27 seconds into his ECHL debut. And the Fuel lead it 1-0.
Well, Andrew, you speak his name and good things happen. Just pretty simple work here for the Indy Fuel. Work the puck down low, getting it back to the point, and a nice shot. The key there from Laguerriere, it's on net. Doesn't miss wide, doesn't get the shot blocked. And Hunter Jones has a tough time handling it. And the Indy Fuel get on the board early in the game.
Laguerriere's got a really nice hard wrist shot. First one didn't get through. The second one found it all the way through to the net. Back to action, puck in the Fuel zone. Brent Gates comes back for it. Tries to play it up the far side and does. Here's cutting in on goal with a backhand, and Jones makes the save on Spencer Watson. Joe Widmar for Iowa plays it up the far side to Beraldo coming across the line. The defenseman wraps it through both corners, looking for Widmar. Comes out to the a little further along the boards for Reimers. His shot is blocked, and the Fuel transition the other way. Lacroix across the line, poke checked. And it's taken back by the Heartlanders. Reimers up the far side. Plays it into the right wing corner. Zulsdorf touches the puck. We've got a whistle. I think the play might have been offside. It was a late whistle. if it was. 16:27 to go. In the first period, the Fuel leading 1-0 on Jacob Laguerrier's first professional goal.
And a great start for the Indy Fuel as well. They brought their skating legs tonight. Early rush from Ryan Zulsdorf jumping into the play, creating some offense, making some things happen. And then it was Spencer Watson on that last shift after the goal, Andrew. He was able to rush the other way, create a breakaway for himself after he just absolutely turned down the Jets and beat a Heartlander defenseman wide. Went forehand, backhand, but it was well read by Hunter Jones. So the Indy Fuel have gotten off on the right foot to start this first period.
16:27 to go, first period. The Fuel lead 1-0, and we have a penalty on Indy.
There was no signal, Andrew, but I'm thinking by the process of elimination, perhaps a too many men on the ice call. One of the linesmen was near the Indy Fuel bench, and that is, of course, one of the penalties.
And Iowa scores right off of the draw to tie this up at 1. Bryce Misley on a rebound as the Heartlanders won the draw, and Morris, I think, made the initial save, but then the puck came right to Misley at the side of the net, and he was able to pound it home. And so Iowa just seconds into the power play, 4 to be exact, ties it up at 1.
Well, when you win a draw, and a nice play at the net front. That was Cade Oliver, the winger, who was standing on the hash marks closest to the middle of the ice. He made a real nice play boxing out an Indy Fuel penalty killer. The puck gets back to the point and it's buried home. So before you could even say penalty, Iowa responds after an offensive zone faceoff one.
Fuel play it into the Iowa zone and comes out to the point for Mike Lee. He wrists one through. Jones gloves it and makes the save. Misley with the goal from Debian and Oliver on the power play at 3:37. That came just a minute and 10 seconds after the Fuels. Jacob Laguerrier scored from McKay and Cuglietta at 2:27.
Well, we're on pace for one heck of an offensive game from both of these teams. We've seen the speed for the Indy Fuel and the finishing ability so far for Iowa with one goal on just 2 shots.
Fuel win the draw. Lee shoots, deflected up against the back glass, and it's taken down by Gordeev for Iowa. Jarred free by Indy as Tommy Apap works it low and loses the puck. Gordeev for the Heartlanders up the far side. Zach Reimers plays it toward the Fuel line, picked off there by Indy. Folks softly ahead, and Chaika plays it to Lee across the Iowa line to the left circle. Ducks the shoulder, tries to go to goal, but he couldn't pull it to the backhand. And the Fuel tried to play it back up to the point, but nobody was home. It comes all the way down, and so Indy will regroup. Wraps it around through center. Riley McKay plays it into the Iowa zone. Comes through both corners where Solo will settle it down as the Fuel are in the midst of a change. 1-1 our score. 15:08 to go in the first period. Widmar across the line. Sidesteps a check from Teixeira. Into the left corner. Tries to sit it out in front. McKay picks it off, but Widmar gets it back. Sends it up to the point for Solo. He shoots. Glove save made by the goaltender Keel Morris. And he holds on for a whistle.
Well, Andrew, Joe Widmar, a guy I know pretty well around the Chicagoland area, often back in my playing career, skating in the summers with him at the Glacier Ice Arena in Vernon Hills, Illinois, and a guy who's got a boatload of skill. He's like a snake on the ice. He just is able to slither right by checks and has the ability to stick handle in very tight areas and plenty of skill to be able to find the back of the net, around the net. And a guy who has gotten off to a really good start this year. And a guy the Indy Fuel are going to have to make sure they keep an eye on.
And here's a turnover right in front. Jack Billig scores, and Iowa leads it 2-1. Iowa won the draw. The puck got loose in front of the net. Jack Billigs hopped on it and made no mistake. The rookie from Niagara rips it home. And the Heartlanders with an early 2-0 lead as one of the Fuel defensemen tried to clear it and cleared it right onto Billings' stick.
And another goal immediately off of a face-off win for Iowa. That's now 2 goals directly resulting off of face-off wins. Super important to be able to gain possession off the draw. The Fuel don't. And just like that, the Iowa Heartlanders go from down 1 to up 1. Not even 6 minutes into this first period.
2 face-off plays have led to Iowa scoring 2 quick goals after the Fuel got on the board first. Heartlanders play it in through both corners, comes up to the point, chopped into the right wing corner where Jordan Schneider settles it out. Headman's through the neutral zone, looking for Cuglietta. He'll send it a little further forward. Brent Gates. Gates behind the net. Pops out the right side, tries to throw it on goal from a sharp angle, but it ends up being sticked all the way out to the point and actually back into the Fuel zone as the point had been vacated. Gordea for Iowa along the near boards, up for Golka. Squirts it free, picked off by Chaika. He wrists one goalward, but Jones comes out to make a glove save, holds on for a whistle. 13:53 to go in the first period. The Fuel trail 2-1 in a high-scoring start to this one. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Midwest Sport and Spine is the official chiropractor of the Indy Fuel. Go where the Fuel go for sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Midwest Sport and Spine offers state-of-the-art technology, chiropractic physical therapy, athletic training, and massage therapy all under one roof. And yes, we take your insurance. Take advantage of our Fuel Fan discount for a $59 introductory massage offer. Midwest Sport and Spine, sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Go to MidwestSportandSpineCenter.com to schedule your appointment now.
Hi, this is Jeff Wheeler, Business Manager of IBEW Local 41. I am proud to represent more than 3,000 union electrical workers in central Indiana. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the annual Circle of Lights, we are proud to power your community. IBEW Local 41 is proud of our union membership and our community leadership.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
2-1, Iowa leads, 13:53 to go in the first period. The latest goal, Jack Billings from Debian and Widmar. And that gives Iowa a 2-0 lead. 2 face-off wins have led to 2 goals for the Heartlanders.
Speaking of face-off wins, you couldn't have won it any cleaner there. Tommy Apap won it so clean where it split the uprights of both Indy Fuel defensemen, and an offensive zone face-off ends up in an Indy Fuel breakout of their own zone.
Iowa with the puck in its own zone, and Gordeev skates past to check, wraps it in. Morris will stop it. Send it along for Lee in his own corner, and now the Fuels gated up. Liam Folks across center red. Quickly ahead to Lacroix, try to give and go with Folks, broken up by the Heartlanders. Comes back to the Fuel line where Mike Lee settles it down. Headman's to Lacroix, posted up at the Iowa line, but Gordeev breaks up the rush. However, the Heartlanders turn it over. Lacroix picks it off at the line. Turnaround shot on goal. Stick save made by Jones. Held in by Laguerrier, but he loses possession at the right point. The Heartlanders want transition the other way. Golka flips it in to the left corner. It's chopped past a forward checker over to Cedric Lacroix along the near boards. But the Fuel turn it back over. Joe Widmar draws a penalty. Iowa's going to go on the power play as Jack Billings flips the puck laterally, and Chad Yetman touches up. Widmar had come back for the puck, and Diego Cuglietta got the stick into his legs just as Widmar was playing the puck right in front of the referee. And that is almost always going to be called. And so the Fuel are going to be shorthanded for the second time in this game. Iowa 1 for 1 on the power play and needed just 4 seconds to do it.
Yeah, it was one of those plays for Diego Cuglietta where it was kind of a last-second adjustment that he had to make to try and contact Joe Widmar in whatever way he could, but a good elusive move by Widmar. Give him credit. Cuglietta gets that stick involved in the midsection of Widmar, taking him down, hooking the call. And the Indy Fuel's penalty kill is going to be tested here with 12:38 to go in the first.
Iowa's 1 for 1 on the power play tonight. Coming into the game, the Heartlanders were 4 for 24, 16.7%. Now 5 for 25, so up to 20%. The Fuel on the penalty kill coming into the game, one goal allowed in 11 opponent power plays. That's 90.9%. Heartlanders bring it into the zone. It's poked free and controlled by Iowa. Taking it to goal, sending it across. Debian up to the point for Linhart. Right circle, shoots right on, and a save is made by the goaltender, Cale Morris, who gobbles it up.
Well, it hasn't been the greatest start for Cale Morrison. I mean, look, give credit to Iowa. They've won a couple of faceoffs. They've directed pucks towards the net. They've gotten a rebound goal. But I think an important segment here for Cale Morris just to feel the puck. I mean, look, he's only faced 5 shots. 2 have gone in. And an opportunity here on the penalty kill for him to get some saves, feel the puck, get some confidence. Because right now, Iowa has found the back of the net on 2 occasions and not very many shots at all.
Fuel clearing into the Iowa zone, and they're going to draw a penalty as some good work short-handed below the Iowa goal line by Chad Yetman draws a tripping penalty on the Heartlanders, and so the Fuel will go to the power play in a minute 13. It's Linhart that goes for tripping.
All-out work from Chad Yetman. Down a man, up ice pressure, hemming Iowa back against their own boards behind the net. He just does an unbelievable job to win a battle against Linhart. He gets taken down, and now all of a sudden you go from killing a penalty to a little 4-on-4 action. Awesome work from Chad Yetman.
A minute to go on the 4-on-4. Iowa brings it into the zone. Right down Main Street comes Joe Widmar, and he scores. Widmar got loose in the slot, beat Morris glove side. 3 quick goals for the Heartlanders, and Indy trails it 3-1.
Well, Andrew, it happened quickly. There was a collision between 2 Indy Fuel players and a Heartlander. Jordan Schneider came across, and that left Joe Widmar wide open, all alone, as the puck just squirted to the middle of the ice. And I mean, he couldn't have had any more of a clear lane to the net from about 5 feet inside the blue line all the way to Cale Morris. And on just 6 shots, Iowa has 3 goals here in the first period.
And so the Fuel have some work to do now. They trail by a count of 3-1. And so it took 2.5 games for Indy to have a 2-goal deficit this season. And now, less than halfway through the first period, Iowa with 3 goals in 4.5 minutes to take this lead. 17 seconds to go on the 4-on-4, and then the Fuel will have an abbreviated power play for 47 seconds. And Mike Lee collects the puck. He'll just bleed out the remainder of the 4-on-4 if he can, as Widmar comes in to forecheck. Cuglietta comes out of the box. The Fuel have a power play. Mike Lee to skate it up at his own line. Drops it for Brent Gates through the neutral zone. Malone across the line, feeds to APAP, back up top for Lee. Whips it across. Here's a feed into the slot for Malone. Back up top, Lee. Zings it around to Gates in the right circle. Banks it off the boards up to the right point for Lee. Sidesteps Widmar's check. Folks trying to play it for Gates. Hopped over a stick, but APAP rescues it. Back to Gates, right half wall. Up to Lee. Over to the left point, Malone. Skates in, drops for Lee. Fakes the one-timer. Feeds over to Gates in the right circle. Back up to Lee. Back to Gates, right circle. Skates to the top of the circle. Holding. 4 seconds to go on the power play. Gates skates in. Curls back. Feeds Lee up top. Fakes the slap shot. Over to Malone. The penalty is over as the save is made on the shot from Malone from the left circle. Puck loose in the high slot. Collected by Brent Gates of the Fuel. Left circle. Puts on the brakes. Peels back. Top of the circle. Drops it now for Schneider. He'll backhand it in behind the net looking for APAP. Working on solo. APAP into the right corner. Puck hops off of his stick and is picked off by Cade Oliver of Iowa, and they'll push it the other way.
Well, no shortage of zone time for the Indy Fuel in the power play. Only able to get 1 shot at the net, and that came from Seamus Malone. So some really good puck movement by the Fuel. A couple of passes in one-timer positions that just never materialized because the pass wasn't in the wheelhouse. But just 1 shot on that abbreviated power play.
Fuel bring it into the zone. Zulsdorf plays it into the right wing corner. Thacker is able to force it free, but it comes to Schneider, shoots, and hits the post. Schneider beat Jones clean from the left point, but it hit the post, it came out. The Fuel looked to answer, feed to the right side of the crease, and Jones was able to hold the post and cover for a whistle with 8:39 to go in the first period. The Fuel trail 3-1, and I think Schneider's maybe asking for a review.
Well, it was Riley McKay wearing number 55 tonight who was in the area. Not sure, Andrew, if he got a stick on it or not. He was just kind of flying by, and it looked to me like that puck changed direction at the last second, and I'm determining that on the movement of the goaltender, Hunter Jones, who was kind of moving one way and the puck went the other and went off that short side post, the post to the left of Jones. And another good look for the Indy Fuel, another great chance, but still one goal on the board.
Spencer Watson takes a shot off the face-off. Save is made by Jones. Puck comes out to neutral ice, collected by Baraldo of Iowa. Kate Oliver comes back for it, right across the dot at center. Wrists it in, hits the bottom of the strings. The Fuel play it over to the near boards. Short pass up for Brent Gates. Rink-wide feed through the neutral zone to Lee. Kicks it into the offensive zone. Goes after it right wing corner. Tries to sidestep a check. Linhart's able to get to it. Wraps it around, but it comes to Spencer Watson. Turnaround shot on goal, and a stick save made by Jones from a sharp angle. Kirillchenko will track the puck down after Iowa clears. 7:53 to go first period. Fuel trail 3-1. Iowa scored 4 goals in just a shade under 3 goals in just a shade under 5 minutes. Thankfully it wasn't 4, but they had 3 scoring chances, and all of them found the back of the net. And here the Fuel iced the puck with 7:37 to go.
And how about last night, Andrew, for Iowa in their game against Cincinnati? They had 13 shots all game. They were outshot 37-13, and they found a way to score 3 goals. So while they have struggled mightily this year through 6 games with just 1 win, collectively, when they're have the positive juices flowing and they're playing as a confident, cohesive unit, this team can find the back of the net. And coming into this game, they were tied for 4th most goals in the entire ECHL while also leading in goals against. So, look, I mean, it has been offense galore so far for Iowa, and they're the type of team where they might not have any studs that scream offense to you, but when they're working together, winning faceoffs, working as a unit in the offensive zone, they don't need many shots to find the back of the net, as their 50% goal scoring percentage tonight speaks for itself.
And they've had 3 shots from right in front. One right off of a face-off on a rebound on the power play. Another, a turnover right in front of the net. And then Widmar essentially had a breakaway on a 4-on-4 and was able to bury it. And that all came right after Jacob Laguerriere had given the Fuel a 1-0 lead. 7:23 to go, first period. Indy trailing by 2. Tommy Apap to take the draw on the left wing circle in the offensive zone. And wins it to Laguerriere, left point. Will cycle it in behind the net, looking for Lacroix. Hops over his stick. Desbiens tracks it down for Iowa. Chops it up to center. Desbiens has a pair of assists in this game. He was acquired from the Maine Mariners on Monday in a trade. Goaltender Jones plays it along the far boards. The Heartlanders chop it out to center. Desbiens tracks it down for the Fuel. Brings it across center red, across the Iowa line. And then sends it in, goes after it himself, and wins the puck below the goal line. Trying to get it to Liam Folks. Instead over to the far side. And the puck played off of Cuglietta's stick. And it just sits at the point. 2 players going after it. Finally played out to center by Desbiens of Iowa. Fuel try a quick re-entry. Lacroix tried to tip it into the zone, but ended up tipping it out of play. So we'll have a face-off at neutral ice with 6:35 to go first period. The Fuel trailing 3-1.
Some good puck protection there from Diego Cuglietta. I think Fedor Gordeev might have even gotten away with a penalty as he got the stick involved, and Diego Cuglietta went down to the ice right in front of the Iowa bench. And that's another guy for me, Andrew, that I'm looking to take even another step. You can see the skill. It's definitely there. It shows in flashes, but I think the consistency, that's the question with Diego Cuglietta. Can he bring a great consistent effort game in and game out throughout the grind and long season that the ECHL possesses? he's definitely going to get the opportunities on this team. It's just all about earning the trust and respect of the coach to be able to put yourself out there in big opportunities.
Seamus Mullen with an opportunity as he found the puck in the high slot. Saves made. Rebound comes up to Schneider at the point, and his shot deflected wide. Riley McKay tries to take it to goal, but he's poked off the play. Comes behind the net to Cuglietta. Pops out the right side. Up to the point for Zulsdorf. Walks the line back to Cuglietta. Right circle. Holds, surveys. Feeds Zulsdorf at the point. Skidded over to the far boards and ends up handing it off to Cuglietta a bit awkwardly. Cuglietta with a wrister from the point goes wide. And the rebound chops over to the near boards and racing over but unable to hold it in is Zulsdorf, so he'll retreat back to his own line, and the Fuel will send it in and go for a change. Billy Constantino behind his own net for Iowa. 5.5 to go. First period, Fuel trail 3-1. Heartlanders play it through the neutral zone and all the way down for icing. Offensive zone faceoff coming for Indy. 5:17 left in this first period. Misley, Billings, and Widmar with goals for Iowa. Jacob Laguerriere has scored for the Fuel. Laguerriere, the youngest player of this Fuel team, and also the newest. He'll celebrate his 21st birthday in a couple of weeks on November 22nd. Was assigned from the Rockford Ice Hogs earlier this week as the Hogs called up Cliff Watson. Puck loose at center, controlled by Brent Gates. Brings it back into the Iowa zone. And he's ridden into the boards by Solo, but stays on the puck. Plays it up to the point for Chaika. Cycles it back to Gates, right corner. Gates goes down, loses the puck. Penalty coming on Iowa.
Yeah, it's the second time, Andrew, where the Fuel have gone to work in the offensive zone. Earlier it was Cuglietta outworking the opponent. Didn't get called. That time it was. Great shift from that Tommy Apap line. And when we come back under 5 minutes to go in the first period, the Fuel will go to the power play.
Indy trails 3-1, 4:57 to go. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
This is Dr. Ram Yaletti, Chief Physician Executive at Community Health Network. I know that for a lot of you, COVID-19 has changed your day-to-day lives in some pretty dramatic ways. But as things are progressing, there's one thing we sincerely hope you'll continue to do just as before, and that's to seek medical care when you need it. So please, focus on getting the care you need, and we'll focus on keeping you safe while you do.
There's no safer place to be. Learn more at ecommunity.com. Stand by. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
When it comes to Hondas, your Central Indiana Honda dealers have plenty to choose from. The fan favorite CR-V, the sleek and stylish Civic Sedan, the extra efficient Insight Hybrid. Kelley Blue Book award-winning stars, all built with hometown pride and made right here in Indiana. Test drive a new Honda today and experience these favorites for yourself. Or shop the latest offers at CentralIndianaHondaDealers.com. What are you waiting for?
Don't miss a second of the action. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
4:57 to go in the first period. Along with Nick Olchek, I'm Andrew Smith. The Indy Fuel trail 3-1, but headed to the power play as Jeff Solo will sit for tripping for Iowa. This will be the Fuel's second power play of the night. They are 0 for 1.
And the last abbreviated power play, Andrew, that they had, they looked really good, moving the puck around extremely well. It was almost like the penalty killing for the Heartlanders. Really couldn't do anything, but the Fuel were not able to get any more than one shot towards the net. So the focus here has to be, you like to move it around. You'd like to set up your one-timer options, but at some point on the power play, you got to drift that puck towards the net.
Fuel win the draw. And Chad Yetman will feed Keone Teixeira left point. Along the boards, back to Keone, over to Yetman. Skates in toward the right circle, feeds Spencer Watson high slot. Watson will curl back. Kick the puck to the forehand, feed Cuglietta, left circle, works it low behind the net. Lacroix tried to play it up, but it's broken up by Iowa, but good hustle by Spencer Watson to get it back. Up to the point for Teixeira, walks the line, feeds to the far side. Watson with a one-timer, and he fouled it off in the slot. Cuglietta up to the point, now gets it back. Left circle, back up top for Teixeira. Surveys, feeds right side, feed into the middle for Spencer Watson. Stick save made on his shot from between the circles. Cuglietta feeds it across for Yetman, up top for Teixeira. Back to Yetman, right circle. Surveys. Plays it back up top again for Teixeira. He tries to wrist one through, blocked right back to him. And Keone holds it in. Feeds Yetman, right circle. Works along the half wall, back up top for Teixeira. Walking the line, 55 seconds to go on the power play. Feeds right side, and Yetman's pass across. Didn't get a lot on it. Broken up by Iowa and cleared all the way down.
A modification on the power play for the Indy Fuel. Usually it's Spencer Watson on that right flank. This time Doug Christensen has him in the middle. It's a different look, but it does open up that one-timer possibility to get it from the right flank to him in the middle of the ice.
The Fuel bring it into the zone and trying to gain possession, finally do. Over to the far side is Liam Folks behind the net. And he loses possession, but Iowa can't clear it out. Held in at the line by Lee. Over to the far side. And Brent Gates works the half wall, feeds it up top for Lee. 9 seconds to go on the power play. Left circle, Malone across Gates. Settles it down, wrists one on goal. Doesn't get all the way through. Cuglietta whips one across to Gates. Back in front for APAP. And a tremendous save made by Jones, as APAP had a doorstep tip, and Jones was able to find it and keep it out in Iowa, which is back to full strength, ices the puck.
And the Fuel almost able to capitalize on a big-time turnover from Kyle Thacker, who in this game tonight is playing forward. Naturally a defenseman. He was playing D out on that shift, so the only position he really hasn't covered in this game, Andrew, is goaltender. But he tried to clear it. It was kept in at the point by Mike Lee, and then the Fuel were able to generate a little bit more offense as APAP was at the net front, and the Indy Fuel almost able to bury one, try and get their second goal in the game. But some good looks on the power play, and they got to keep up this offensive flow going so far.
Thacker had a goal last night against Cincinnati playing forward, and he started the year with the Cyclones, was in their training camp, was released, and Iowa picked him up. Heartlanders send it into the Fuel zone. They'll go off for a change, however, as Jordan Schneider comes back for the puck for Indy. Fuel trail 3-1, 2.5 to go, first period. Zulsdorf brings it all the way across the neutral zone to the near boards, gains center red, and sends it in. In after it is C.J. Ike on the forecheck, forces Gordeev to peel back. Puck over to the near boards, and stepping up on Golka is Cuglietta, but Golka's able to force it past him and into the Fuel zone. And he turns it over. Here's a shot from Desbiens, and a glove save made by Cale Morris.
Well, the latter half of this period, the Fuel have spent the majority of the time in Iowa's end. Our necks have been cranked to the left, and then Cale Morris making his first save in quite some time after a big-time turnover in the defensive zone for the Indy Fuel. And he was able to just barely get a glove on that and steer it aside. Not an easy save to make in general, but especially when you've gone 4.5 or 5 minutes without seeing the puck or feeling it. I think that makes it an extra big save to keep it a 2-goal deficit.
Puck tied up off the draw on the left wing circle, and coming away with it is Seamus Malone, but he goes down as he was trying to pivot. And Joe Widmar skates out of there with it for Iowa. Up the left wing boards into the Fuel zone. Plays it into the left wing corner. Golka rides Laguerriere hard into the boards. The Fuel take the puck. Seamus Malone at his own line. 1-on-3 through center. Tries a self-pass into the right wing corner. And follows it. Wins the puck. And feeds Spencer Watson for a shot below the right wing circle. But Jones in good position to make the save.
And there was room on the far side, but just barely able to get a blocker on it was Jones on a real quick play. Great work ethic to win the race to the puck. And then Spencer Watson, that's the guy you want with the puck on his stick in that spot. But a good save by Jones.
Iowa brings it into the zone. Shot wristed wide by Bryce Misley, who has a goal in this game. Heartlanders try to play it up to the point, and it gets through to Linhart. Plays it along the near boards. The Fuel gain possession. Lacroix tips it out to center. Fuel go for a change. Final minute of the first. Our first intermission guest will be David Fine, the voice of the Iowa Heartlanders. You'll hear from him after about 35 more seconds of playing time. Kirill Chaika missed stick handled a little bit. That allowed the forechecker Oliver to come in, but Chaika was able to play it out to center. Gordeev takes it for Iowa.
I'm sure you'd agree with me, Andrew. He's got a fine voice. I've been thinking about that one all day and waiting to...
He does, even without the obvious pun there. So the
Took
Fuel
me all day to think about that.
the Fuel's Liam Folks plays it out to center. 8 seconds to go in the period. Zach Reimers for Iowa Sends it across to Widmar, and he will just bleed out the remainder of the clock. Good start for the Fuel. Jacob Laguerriere scored 2:27 in, but then 3 quick goals by the visitors have given Iowa a 3-1 lead after a period, despite the Fuel outshooting Iowa 15-6 in the opening frame. We'll take a break. When we come back, Nick and I will recap the first period. We'll give you our first intermission stats, sponsored by Midwest Sport and Spine Clinic, and bring you our first intermission guest, David Fine. That comes up right after this. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Midwest Sport and Spine is the official chiropractor of the Indy Fuel. Go where the Fuel go for sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Midwest Sport and Spine offers state-of-the-art technology, chiropractic physical therapy, athletic training, and massage therapy all under one roof. And yes, we take your insurance. Take advantage of our Fuel Fan discount for a $59 introductory massage offer. Midwest Sport and Spine, sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Go to MidwestSportandSpineCenter.com to schedule your appointment now.
Remember Krista from Kemper Technology Consulting last year?
What's icing?
Well, she's learned a lot since then.
Get him! Hit him again! Shoot!
And she's become a huge Fuel fan.
Go, Fuel! Go!
Let the team at Kemper put that same enthusiasm to work for you. Specializing in accounting software support with QuickBooks Professional Certification, Kemper gives you real people solving real problems. They can also help your network infrastructure, too. Call 866-966-5633 or visit KemperTC.com.
Come on, Ref! Idiot.
Back to Indy Fuel Hockey with Nick Olchek and Andrew Smith.
Time for the Midwest Sport and Spine first intermission stats. The Iowa Heartlanders lead the Indy Fuel 3-1. Despite the Fuel outshooting Iowa 15-6, Iowa was 1 for 2 on the power play. The Fuel were 0 for 2. Scoring summary for the Fuel: Jacob Laguerriere, his first career goal at 2:27 from Riley McKay and Diego Cuglietta gave Indy a 1-0 lead, but 4 seconds after a too many men on the ice penalty on the Fuel, the Heartlanders' Bryce Misley capitalizes with a rebound 4 seconds into the power play. 3:37 of the first from Jonathan Desbiens and Cade Oliver, tying the game at 1. Then Jack Billings off of another face-off play. The Fuel turned it over right in the slot, and Billings cashed it in for his 4th goal of the year from Desbiens and Joe Widmar at 5:08, making it a 2-1 Iowa lead. Then at 8:26, Widmar on a 4-on-4 from Cade Oliver made it 3-1, and that's where we stand through 20 minutes of play. And Nick Olchek, I think, again, a lot to like in terms of the Fuel really dominated and controlled play for large stretches of that first period, but Iowa was very opportunistic, and something we were talking about with Doug Christensen earlier today. The Fuel haven't given up a lot of scoring chances, but the ones they've given up have all ended up in the back of the net, it seems. And Toledo didn't have a lot of chances on Wednesday, but they had 3 breakaways and really 4 breakaways, and they scored all 4 times. And so it's just a matter of kind of cleaning up those breakdowns. They're going to happen early in the season. And tonight has been face-off plays for Iowa that have done the Fuel in so far.
And look, you have to give credit when it's due. Iowa has not had many shots in this game, just 6 shots on goal, 3 goals so far. But you have to give credit where it's due. Some clinical finishing from Iowa. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Andrew, and talk about face-offs. Uber important, really in every area of the ice, but especially in the defensive zone. And as a center iceman, the sacrilege is you cannot lose the draw clean. And I think it's easy to pin it on the center iceman, but it very much is a 5-guy effort on any draw to be able to have your guy off the draw, because look, at a face-off, everybody has a guy. Everybody has their role. They know who they have, and a breakdown twice, the Fuel not able to win the draw, and kind of the opposite of that, they lost it completely clean, which allows Iowa to get into their scheme and get into their set, maybe run a play quickly. And that certainly was the case, and that's what happened on both of the goals that came directly from faceoffs. And so, look, that's something that you can clean up. And I think if you're struggling as a center iceman, if you're struggling during the game on faceoffs, you can't go into faceoffs thinking, I'm going to try and win it clean. If you're having a tough night, or the guy that you're consistently going up against is just beating you via quickness, you're going to have to go into the faceoff with just the mindset and the attitude of, okay, I'm just going to try and tie him up. And then you have to let your wingers know, hey, I'm tying him up. You guys got to come in and help to find that 50-50 puck, find that loose puck rattling around in there. So while it has been an issue in the first period, it's something that the Fuel can certainly nip in the butt now, so that way defensive zone faceoffs do not haunt them in the second and the third like it did in the first.
You know, the Fuel trailing 3-1 through a period. And so we're going to take a break. When we come back, the Iowa Heartlanders, a new team in the ECHL based in Coralville, which is just next to Iowa City, where the University of Iowa is. Almost caught myself calling them the Hawkeyes just from years and years and years of training, hearing those words and seeing the black and gold. But it's been interesting to see the development of this new franchise, and so we had a chance to chat with the voice of the Heartlanders, David Fine. You'll hear from him right after this. First intermission, the Fuel trail 3-1. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
If you're looking for an exciting night of hockey, visit the Indiana Farmers Coliseum to help cheer our Indy Fuel to victory. If you're looking to score a great deal on business insurance, look no further than Indiana Farmers Insurance. The Indy Fuel chose Indiana Farmers Insurance because they wanted a local business that understands local business. It's a partnership that's truly worthy of a hat trick. To find an independent Indiana Farmers Insurance agent near you, visit IndianaFarmers.com. Our first intermission guest on this Friday night is the voice of the Iowa Heartlanders, David Fine, as we welcome the Heartlanders to the league. Their first ever road trip happening this week. They were in Cincinnati last night, in Indy tonight, back to Cincinnati tomorrow, and getting a tour of the Central Division. And David, first of all, welcome to the division, as you've been in Reading the last 4 years and now into the Central Division. What have these last few weeks and months been like for you trying to launch a new franchise and introduce the ECHL to a new fan base?
Well, it's been highly exciting, Andrew, and thanks again for having me on. Moved here beginning of May, late April, beginning of May. With the team, when I moved here, I didn't even know the team name. It was kind of kept secret from everyone that was hired before the team name was launched. And as a follow-up question in the interview, I wasn't going to be like, hey, interested in having this job. Can you tell me what the team name is? So everyone kind of just let it conveniently slip, which is kind of funny that we had 3 or 4 of us in the office, and only our team president and former ECHL commissioner, Brian McKenna, knew what was going on with the team name. I didn't know the logo, didn't know the team name, but over the course of the summer, it's just been, building towards what was a very special opening night. More than 4,000 fans in attendance here. The building seats basically just under 5,000. So it was a great opening night here, and it's just been, building, and getting our name out in the marketplace because, as you know, being in a major city in Indianapolis, and then here the Hawkeyes are the show in town. Everybody knows the Hawkeyes. Everybody knows every player on the Iowa Hawkeyes football team. So from our perspective, we've been trying to create, and we have, I think, our own sort of niche of fans that are hockey fans in this area and help grow the game. And hockey in this area is getting bigger. 20 minutes up the road is Cedar Rapids, where the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders play. The Dubuque Fighting Saints have existed in some capacity for many years in the USHL, and they've been in Dubuque now as the current rendition for the last 10, 15 years. And then the Waterloo Blackhawks, these are all teams that are an hour to 90 minutes away in Dubuque and in Waterloo. So there is hockey here. It's helped a lot that the Iowa Wild, the AHL affiliate of the Heartlanders, are only an hour and 40 minutes away, which is a really convenient path up to the NHL to go from the Heartlanders to the Iowa Wild to the Minnesota Wild. And we're just excited that we're finally underway because there were a lot of sleepless nights leading up to the home opener. But once it happened and the team scored its first goal just 25 seconds into the first period of its first game ever, I mean, it was like Nirvana at Extreme Arena, to be honest.
Yeah, you can't have much better start than that. 25 seconds into the first game, the fans are barely into their seats, and the goal horn goes off, and you get a win in your first game. And
when it all comes together like that, how special is it to just be a part of it and then just have that relief? As we went through this 8 years ago, 8 seasons ago now, back in 2014 in Indy, and just getting through that opening night, and now you're into the grind essentially of the season and making sure those fans that embrace the team on opening night, maybe curious about something new, now come back and are diehards and season ticket holders and become fans for the long term.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, too, that's really interesting is that you mentioned how proud and sort of like you're underway, but the moment for me where I actually felt that more than opening night was really cool. But the moment where I felt it was we hosted a couple of preseason games on Thursday, October 7th, and then Friday, October 8th. The Iowa Wild played the Rockford Ice Hogs, and by no means was the crowd on Friday. Thursday, no fans. It was like a dry run for everyone in the arena, worked out the kinks, and then Friday, show was on with fans. And it wasn't a big crowd by any means, but it was like people were coming into our building and paying their money to see our product, to see our entertainment product. And I was, especially because I wasn't on the air that night, was part of it, and I could just kind of walk around and, play sort of that media liaison role better than, you can on a night where you're broadcasting. But I was just walking around the arena and seeing people in there smiling and buying beer and a hot dog, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, this did not exist. There's never been a pro hockey game in this building with fans, and now people are spending their money to do it. So opening night was awesome. It was also a whirlwind, and there were so many things going on that you almost, didn't feel like you were breathing until the game started. But that AHL preseason game 2 weeks earlier was the moment I felt like most of our staff kind of got to take in, like, kind of that, wow, like people have spent their hard-earned money to come see us, which was very rewarding.
You're right there in a college town, too, with Iowa City next door to Coralville, and I believe your rink is also the home of the Iowa volleyball team. And so how much have you been able to tap into that college atmosphere and really make some connections with the Iowa students and staff?
Yeah, it's growing, too, because, students here that are juniors and seniors and sophomores never had a professional hockey team. We're only a mile and a half away from the football stadium, and it might be a mile sort of as the crow flies, honestly. From where I live, my apartment complex is further away from Kinnick Stadium, where the Hawkeye football team plays, and therefore the campus further away than Extreme Arena. If you go to the fifth floor or so of the building, you can actually see the end zone, bleachers at Kinnick. So, like, you're close. You go 3-4 blocks down here, and you are in Iowa City. So even though we're in Coralville, I mean, it's Iowa City is how it feels. It's all connected. Coralville's just the suburb that's outside in the growing area. But in terms of tapping into the students, like we people in Coralville know that we're here because it's Coralville's pro hockey team. But you're only a mile away from the campus and sort of maybe 2 or 3 miles from downtown Iowa City. So for us, it's going to be continuing about making sure we connect with the student groups there, the sororities and fraternities, and the young hockey lovers of Iowa Fan Club, and all this stuff to make sure that they get out to games and connect that way. Because if we don't do that type of stuff, then we're missing out on 30 to 40,000 students, and therefore a potential alumni base eventually that might live in this area and want to come to games. So it's a growing process for us. We wanted to make sure that we get out in the market with families and preach family-friendly entertainment. But people in Iowa, and especially the Iowa Hawkeye students, their like fight song or whatever is "There's no beer in heaven," so they like their beer, so they like to come out and that's true. It's like their rally song after the game or whatever. So they like having a fun time, and we want them here to make sure that they create a little bit of a difficult atmosphere to play in for the visiting team.
Well, you've got a beautiful new rink, and Jerry Fleming, your head coach, back to the ECHL after spending the last 13 years, most of those in the American Hockey League. What type of identity is he trying to build with the hockey team in Iowa?
Yeah, he's talked all about the transition game and, that like we want to play fast, which every coach is going to say. But I think you hear that out of him and you think about what the league was like 13 years ago where, like coaches aren't going to say we want to play slow. But he kind of went up to the American League at that sort of crux inflection point where it's become so much more about the offense and trying to generate than what it was, when he first started in this league, which was back, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so, he is all about the new age hockey stuff, relative. And maybe I had some bias, but, I wasn't sure how much he was about it when we got him on board, just because he's been in the league and been around hockey so much. But he is very dialed into the analytics side, the video, the need to play with speed and, two-way puck moving, all this stuff that you hear from him makes it sound like he is a young coach in this league or a younger coach in this league. He's also just a terrific guy, Andrew. I would say to you that, he's always, from a media guy perspective, it's heaven because he's really easy to talk to. He keeps his cool very, very easily, realizes sort of, the implications of his actions and what it means when he's around the team and in front of the guys. And the guys love him here because he's such an approachable guy. And we need that. We have the least experienced roster in the ECHL in terms of games played in the ECHL. We have Tyler Mosienko, who's played 400 games in the league. Jake Linhart's played 100 games in the league. Joe Widmar's played 60 games. And then no one else entering this year had played more than 50 games in the league. So that the roster's so young for this level. We have a bunch of guys out of major junior, a bunch of rookies out of NCAA hockey. And you need a guy that's going to be approachable. And so from Jerry's perspective, he's just made sure he's kept that sort of calm, cold demeanor and, teaching, learning process. And hopefully we get a few wins in between, which we did on opening night.
You mentioned Joe Widmar played half a season of junior hockey here in Indy with the old Indiana Ice, and so it'll be good to see him back in town. And, of course, the Fuel headed back to Iowa next week. We're looking forward to seeing a few Fuel fans in the new Extreme Arena in Coralville, and, of course, the Heartlanders making several trips to the Indiana Farmers Coliseum this year. David Fine, always good to talk to you, and we will be hearing from you throughout the year, so thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Andrew, and looking forward to getting in the barn for the first time there after our game in Indy on Thursday.
Looking forward to it as well. That's David Fine, the voice of the Iowa Heartlanders. We'll take a break. Nick and I will be back with second period action right after this. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
When you get care at Community Health Network, you're part of our community. And in our community, nothing should get between you and your health, not even the cost of care. When the time comes, our advocacy team will help you figure it out, whether you're uninsured or underinsured, so you can focus on what really matters, your health. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. Get support at ecommunity.com/simply delivered.
Stand by me.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Second period action getting set to begin at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Fuel trailing the Iowa Heartlanders 3-1. Along with Nick Olchek, I am Andrew Smith. And Nick, it's military night, and we are having an opportunity to honor our armed forces tonight as well, being sponsored by ESGR, the employee support of the Garden Reserve. And certainly want to thank everybody watching, listening, in attendance who has served this great country that has allowed us to have the freedoms we have, and obviously we'll get an opportunity to celebrate them again next week on Veterans Day, November 11th.
Oh, look, the Indy Fuel do such an incredible job, led by Jim Hallett, Larry McQuarrie, do such an amazing job putting on these promotional nights, headed by Dana Roth and everybody involved, the entire staff, of whether it's military night or hockey is for everyone night or having some school kids here during the course of the year. Just an incredible initiative. And look, to have a night like this to honor the people that allow us to be here doing what we love to do, I think it's an incredible thing. And I have had a grandpa who served in the Korean War, and look, I mean, they do an unbelievable job, and those are the true heroes. So awesome to see a lot of veterans and active military here, and we certainly say a big thank you to them for doing what they do.
Absolutely, and allowing us to do what we love, and what we love is enjoy this great game of hockey. And we're back underway in the second period. Beraldo for Iowa skates across center red, flops it into the zone. Cale Morris, the Fuel goaltender, will send it along. Fuel turn it over, however, at the line. However, Iowa couldn't do much with it. Spencer Watson collects for the Fuel. Headbands through the neutral zone. Here's a shot that goes wide from the left circle and ends up going up and out of play off the stick of Diego Cuglietta.
Well, a really good stick defensively for Brent Gates. He broke up the play in the defensive zone. That led to the rush. And again, Ryan Zulsdorf, we saw it earlier in the first period, start the rush. He does it again and slid it over for Gates, who made the play originally defensively and just missed that shot as he was trying to go glove side, far side, and beat Jones, but went up and out of play. So a good opportunity there for the Indy Fuel defense leading to offense.
Tommy Apap with another clean face-off win.
Second time.
His defenseman.
It's the second time he's done that. He's got 6 points on the year with 2 field goals. So I wouldn't be surprised, Andrew, moving forward. Let's see if he's on a draw. Let's see if the Indy Fuel defensemen maybe reposition themselves.
Well, Liam Folks taking it from Tommy Apap off the ensuing rush. Tried to go high on Jones, but Jones made a positional save. Go ahead and finish your thought, Nick.
So let's see if the Indy Fuel defensemen reposition themselves here on this faceoff. If it's going to be Apap taking it, maybe have one guy in the middle, another guy towards the boards or more towards the other side of the ice. And it looks like he's going to try and run a faceoff play here because he's done that twice. Can't allow that to keep happening. And just to keep an eye on the Indy Fuel defensemen, how they're lining up at the blue line in the offensive zone.
Apap gets tossed out of the circle, so Diego Cuglietta, actually Liam Folks will take it since he's a right shot and they're on the right side. All three of these guys can play center. And Widmar wins it cleanly for Iowa. Puck chopped out to center. Mike Lee settles it down, but it's taken away at neutral ice by Jack Billings. He shoots high and wide, and the rebound caroms all the way back into the Iowa end and below the Iowa goal line. Constantino flushed out. Cuglietta takes it. Liam Folks with a shot. Jones had no idea where it was, but it did not find its way to the net. Mike Lee, right point, cycles it back in behind the net. And the Fuel try to feed it out in front for Folks, and it's broken up by Constantino. Folks tracks it down along the far boards. Peels off the boards, poke check to Apap. Finds himself on the wrong end of a solo hip check that separates him from the puck. And the Heartlanders play it out to center. Desbiens has it knocked off of his stick by Mike Lee. Billings comes back for the puck. And we'll leave it for Solo. Turns it over. Good check by Yetman to take it away. Chad Yetman tried to play it a little further along the boards into the corner for McKay. Solo breaks it up and hoists it out to center. And the Fuel will wrap it around, play it into the Iowa zone. Jones, the goaltender, bunts it into the near corner. First guy there, those wearing a camo jersey for the Fuel. Here's a shot from the point, deflected wide. Lively Karam off the inboards, feet out in front, and they score! The Fuel have cut the deficit to 1 as Chad Yetman got loose right in the goal mouth. The feed came to him from below the goal line, and Yetman hammered it home to cut the deficit to 3-2.
Well, Andrew, this line for the Indy Fuel has been amidst all the good things offensively in the offensive third of the ice, and it's Yetman. I think the original shot from the point was redirected by McKay. That's what sent it wide. And a beautiful pass down low, out front. Chad Yetman, stick in the ready position. And he beats Hunter Jones to the blocker side. And now the Fuel, who have had a good start in this second, are within a goal.
Indy on the rush. Spencer Watson feeds into the middle, but Brett Gates was back checked and hit from behind. And we have a whistle as well.
I think it was a quick whistle, Andrew.
Yeah.
The official, Casey Terreri, had thought that the puck was covered by Hunter Jones. And the referee, the officials instructed, if you lose sight of the puck or you think it's frozen, then you blow your whistle. Clearly wasn't. Quick whistle. But a great response after the goal for, and the Fuel continue the offensive onslaught.
The goal for the Fuel, Chad Yetman's first of the year from Lacroix and Laguerriere at 2:12, cutting the deficit to 3-2. Laguerriere with a 2-point night in his ECHL debut. Heartlanders breaking into the Fuel zone. Shot from Pastorius on goal, gloved down by Cale Morris, and he holds on for a whistle.
That was a real confident stop by Cale Morris, well out on the top of his crease. Snagged it with the glove as the puck stung his palm. A confident save from a goaltender who is still trying to find his way with the Indy Fuel this year. You got a good rotation of goaltenders on the roster, and I think as the year goes along, Andrew, depending on who gets called up, injuries are bound to happen. It's going to be very interesting to see with 4 really strong goaltenders who's going to be the one to take the reins and eventually be the ones that cements themselves as the quote starter.
Morris has started 3 of the 4 games for the Fuel as the Fuel break it into the zone. Zulsdorf's pass a little too far for Apap. Comes into the left wing corner. Folks gets stapled into the boards. Puck loose, left circle. Cuglietta trying to hunt it, but coming out of there with it is Beraldo for Iowa. Adrian Beraldo chips it off the glass out to neutral ice. Zulsdorf steps up to take the puck away, takes a hit to move it into the zone. Come the Fuel. Tommy Apap tried to shovel it behind the net for Cuglietta, but it was broken up by Iowa and Beraldo, and now they'll bring it out to center. Pastorius has his rush broken up by Mike Lee. He'll settle it down at his own line for Indy. That man's up the far side. 16.5 to go. Second period. Fuel trail 3-2 as Lacroix sends it in, goes after it himself. Picks up the puck below the goal line. Lacroix out to the point for Lee. Walking the line. Feeds Getman. Top of the right circle. Shoots! And a blocker save made by Jones. The rebound came out to the weak side. And there was an open side, but nobody was home. Lee again. Fakes the slap shot, takes a wrister, and it's blocked up and out of play by Pastorius. Fuel will have an offensive zone draw with 16:09 to go in the second period, and they trail 3-2.
And since that goal, Andrew, it has been all Indy, keeping the Heartlanders pinned in their own zone. And a good shot there by Mike Lee. Just a little subtle hesitation, trying to force Pastorius out of the shooting lane. But Pastorius was able to get a good stick on it, deflected up and out of play, and an offensive zone draw for Indy.
And we're going to have a boarding penalty on C.J. Ike right off of the face-off, and so the Fuel are going to be shorthanded. The Heartlanders taking a little bit of exception as well, as Ike going after the puck below the goal line, but Solo had his back turned to him, and Ike stapled him hard into the boards.
And you could tell the immediate regret from C.J. Ike as soon as the hit was laid. And Solo went down, boarding the call against C.J. Ike, and a guy who's been around long enough. He's a smart enough player to understand that you can't do that. And like I said, you could see the immediate regret that he showed and trying to make sure that Solo was okay. He is. And in a 3-2 game early in the second, the Indy Fuel's penalty kill is going to have to come up with a strong effort here.
Iowa's 1 for 2 on the power play in this game as Bryce Misley has the goal on the man advantage. A penalty, Ike for boarding at 3:55 of period number 2. Misley to take the draw, left circle. And wins it cleanly. Back to Linhart at the point. Feed it back over to the left circle, and Misley working the half wall. Zips it up to the right point, back to Linhart, playing catch, and Desbiens settles it down. Works it low, back up to the point for Linhart. Holds it in, shovels it back along the boards, and here's skating in and shooting is Jack Billings. His shot is deflected up and out of play. So 15:44 to go in the period. 1:39 in Iowa's power play. Fuel trailing 3-2.
Real nice keep in at the blue line there from Jake Linhart. It was a bouncing puck that was sent back to the point, back to the blue line, and he kind of pinned his right leg and skate against the boards to knock it down, keeping his stick free to be able to control that puck once it eventually settled. And that kept the play alive for Iowa. They were able to get a shot away as it deflects up and out of play.
Fuel win the draw, but Linhart holds it in at the line. Plays it in behind the net for Cade Oliver. Got a pair of points tonight. Up to the point, Linhart. Over to the far side, Billings sends it all the way across for Misley. Left point, skates into the left circle. Wrist one right through the crease. Goes all the way through. Desbiens holds it in at the right point. Over to Misley, left circle. Curls to the forehand, skates in, shoots through traffic, didn't get all the way through. It got blocked by Kirill Chaykin. Keone Tekshera working below the goal line, but jams it free, but Misley's the next layer to take the puck. But good work by the Fuel, works it out to center, and now Chad Getman shorthanded, hops on it right circle. Takes it behind the net, Linhart forces him wide, and then takes the puck. 50 seconds to go in Iowa's power play as the Heartlanders bring it across the line. Jack Billings puts on the brakes, top of the left circle, feeds Linhart across to the far side, explodes off of Desbiens' stick, and Seamus Malone hopped on it, tried to play it forward, it got deflected out of play, so we'll have a whistle with 14:43 to go in the period and 39 seconds on Iowa's power play.
Well, it's been all sweat and effort on this penalty kill for the Indy Fuel. They're knowing the right triggers to see, the right spots where you want to jump and be aggressive on a bobbled puck, a bad pass when a power play guy turns his back to face the glass. And the Fuel have been very aggressive on this penalty kill, taking advantage and taking care of any loose pucks and getting them cleared, just like that one.
The Fuel win the draw and clear it down as it bounced over Beraldo's stick as he was trying to hold it in at the line. And now Jordan Schneider breaks up the rush, forces Iowa offside. And so we'll have a face-off just outside the Fuel line with 26 seconds to go on the Heartlanders power play. Iowa leads 3-2. Chad Yetman with the goal in the second period to draw the Fuel a little closer. Indy looking to finish off this kill and then get back on the attack.
It always is about that balance, Andrew, of being too aggressive against being too passive. And like I said, you're looking for those different triggers, the things you see that will kind of trigger you to go be more aggressive. And like I said, a player has control, the puck starts to bobble, he doesn't have full possession of it, then you can go. Or a puck's rimmed around the boards and the other team doesn't have full control of it, then it's another way you can go. So they're looking for these different pressure points, and that is something that the coaching staff goes over consistently with the penalty killers. Like I said, you're not just running out of position, being aggressive just to be aggressive. You certainly don't want to take yourself out of position, but so far the Fuel have just done a masterful job on this penalty kill.
Fuel won the draw and cleared, but Beraldo brings it in, trying to feed it out in front. But the puck is knocked free from Remmers and forced wide. Ike is out of the box. We're back to 5 aside. The Fuel now 2 for 3 on the penalty kill. Puck played into the Iowa zone. Beraldo, the defenseman, forced back by McKay, is able to go D-to-D to Constantino and outlet to Remmers. Some extracurricular activity behind the play, but everybody gets untangled as the Fuel's Mike Lee headmans through the neutral zone, tipped into the zone by Spencer Watson. Constantino, the first one there, tries to chop it over to the far boards, but the Fuel gain possession. Send it over to the near corner. Spencer Watson battling with Beraldo. Comes out to Carlson, turns it over at the line. Skating in, feeding in front is Schneider, and he couldn't find his intended target because that player was interfered with. Billy Constantino is going to sit for interference. The Fuel headed to the power play, trailing by 1. 13:23 to go in the second period. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
If you're looking for an exciting night of hockey, visit the Indiana Farmers Coliseum to help cheer our Indy Fuel to victory. If you're looking to score a great deal on business insurance, look no further than Indiana Farmers Insurance. The Indy Fuel chose Indiana Farmers Insurance because they wanted a local business that understands local business. It's a partnership that's truly worthy of a hat trick. To find an independent Indiana Farmers Insurance agent near you, visit indianafarmers.com.
When it comes to Hondas, your Central Indiana Honda dealers have plenty to choose from. The fan favorite CR-V, the sleek and stylish Civic Sedan, the extra efficient Insight Hybrid, Kelley Blue Book award-winning stars, all built with hometown pride and made right here in Indiana. Test drive a new Honda today and experience these favorites for yourself. Or shop the latest offers at centralindianahondadealers.com. What are you waiting for?
13.
Don't miss a second of the action. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
13:23 to go in the second period. The Fuel headed to the power play as Billy Constantino is in the box for interference for Iowa. The Fuel are, actually they call it a slash and not interference. I thought the initial signal was interference, but whatever the case, the Fuel to the man advantage. This is a big spot in the game for the Fuel, trailing by 1, having just scored to get a deficit back down to 1. They win the offensive zone draw. Mike Lee, center point, fires a one-timer, and it didn't get all the way through. Tommy Apap battling below the goal line, unable to win that battle, but bothers the Heartlanders enough to allow the Fuel to hold it into the line briefly, but on second effort, Iowa was able to clear. 30 seconds gone in the Fuel's power play. Indy coming into the game was 3 for 12 with the man advantage. Skating across the line, Liam Folks. Right circle, drops it off, and now Mike Lee walks the line, wrists one, deflected on goal, and I think it hit a body in front. Brent Gates, right circle, surveys, feeds up top to Lee, shoots, save made, rebound, Folks fires, and The goaltender, Jones, found it and made the save as Folks had a pretty good look at the rebound from the top of the crease.
Well, the power play has looked really good in this game for the Indy Fuel. But Hunter Jones and co. finding a way to keep the puck out. You had a couple of defensemen just diving around, trying to keep that puck out of the net. As you in that last shot, you had Jeff Salo diving in front to try and block the shot, and eventually made its way to Hunter Jones, who made the stop. But some really good opportunities for the Fuel so far on the power play. See if they can find a way to cash in, as Yetman's going to get tossed from this faceoff.
1:06 to go on the man advantage. 12:28 in the second. Fuel trail 3-2. Lacroix to take the draw with Yetman and Spencer Watson, the other forwards. Teixeira and Cuglietta back at the points. Iowa wins the draw, but Teixeira holds it in at the right point. Walks the line. Feeds Chad Yetman. Right circle. Surveys from the half wall to the bumper. Spencer Watson turnaround shot save made by Jones with the pad. Fuel hold it in. Feed to Yetman, takes it off the boards, right circle, sends it low for Lacroix. Back diagonal feed, skating in, Cuglietta shoots, blocker save made by Jones. Cuglietta corrals the puck, feeds it up top to Teixeira, back to Cuglietta, along the left wing boards, picked off but taken back by Cuglietta. Works it low, and Cuglietta gets it back, left half wall. Skates it up top for Teixeira to Chad Yetman, skating in, right side, shoots, blocked, comes back to Yetman from his knees, tried to put it goalward, didn't get through, and Iowa tries to clear it. On second effort they do, as Joe Widmar has it at center and will wrist it in.
Well, two failed clearances from the Iowa Heartlanders. First it was Kyle Thacker and then Jake Lindhart, both unable to get the puck out. And the Fuel were able to continue to go to work. A couple of great looks, but just not able to capitalize.
Iowa back to full strength as Brett Gates has. Right circle, shoots off the crossbar. That's a second post the Fuel have hit cleanly today after beating Jones.
And that just had no chance for Hunter Jones. A perfect shot, cannon fire off of his stick, and it beat him clean to the glove side. Just couldn't beat the blue painted pipe.
Iowa's Fedor Gordeev chops it in from center. Settled down by the goaltender, Cale Morris, and sidestepping a check. Coming through the neutral zone is Brent Gates. He shoots. Blocker save made. Sneaky shot from Gates. And Jones reacted late to it, but was able to make the blocker save. And then with a couple of Fuel players on top of the crease hunting the puck, Jones was able to cover up. And one of those guys was C.J. Ike. Ike doesn't get a chance to play a regular shift. He's often the 10th forward, but he's a ball of energy when he's out there. He makes things happen.
He does. On the forecheck, defensively sound in his own end. You know he's going to be skating about 1,000 miles an hour whenever he does get the odd shift. A very important part. And don't forget the important part he plays on the penalty kill as well. A very valuable guy to have. And like the point I made a little bit earlier, as this season goes along, injuries are going to happen. And I think at some point he will fill a more regular role, considering what he means to this team, the experience he has, and the skill set that he brings. Not a lot of guys have that and are willing to execute it. He embodies everything that it means to be a role player, and has had just a great start to the year so far.
Ike is the one veteran by ECHL standards on this Fuel team. A veteran is a guy who's played at least 260 professional games entering the year. He's at 317. Fuel gain the line. Folks can't quite handle the puck. Try to back feed for Chaika, and the puck just couldn't settle down on him, and he couldn't get the shot off as a result.
Well, Folks made the original play to be able to beat a Heartlander defender wide, and then a little give-and-go attempt with Tommy Apap. And Folks just wasn't ready for it at the last second, and then Schneider had a look as well, as he was in a great shooting area, but the puck just kind of flubbed off of his stick. So again, the Fuel are getting chances off the rush from sustained pressure in the offensive zone, just not able to find a way to get that third goal to tie the game, but they are getting those looks. That's certainly a positive thing.
Dominant second period. The Fuel have outshot Iowa 9-1. They have the only goal off the stick of Chad Yetman, but Indy does trail 3-2. The Fuel had iced the puck. Iowa controls off the offensive zone draw. Kirill Chaika settles it down for the Fuel. Chips it off the boards, up the near boards to Liam Folks. Tries to go further along through the neutral zone for Cuglietta. Broken up by Constantino, but Tommy Apap with good hustle forces it free at the line, but couldn't do anything with it. And here come the Heartlanders the other way. Quick 2-on-1 developing with Chaika back, and the feed across forces Morris to come across and make a sprawling blocker save on Pastorius. Iowa regroups at center. Constantino's able to sidestep and check, take it up the left side, and some good emergency defending forces the puck over to the far boards. Constantino tried to whip it across, but nobody was home, and Chad Yetman curls back to take the puck for Indy. They'll bring it across center red, across the line, dangles past a pair, fires on goal, but a positional save made by Hunter Jones. And the Heartlanders want transition the other way. Jack Billings up the left side for Dabiet, or make that the right side, back behind the net for Billings. Puck forced off of his stick over to the near boards. Billings gets it back, whips it to Constantino at the point, wrists one wide, and the Fuel hop on the loose puck.
And that shot just went wide of the stick of Joe Widmar, who was camped out front looking to redirect that puck. Went just wide, and the Fuel dodge a chance against.
Riley McKay up to the point, shot, hits a leg in front. I think Jones, that might have been his leg as he stuck the pad out in a forest of bodies in front, made the save, and then covers up for a whistle. With 8:45 to go in the period, the Fuel are pouring it on here, but they just haven't been able to find the equalizer.
Still just 7 shots.
Just one this period.
Man, oh man, for Iowa. And again, it was very much the same story. Iowa in the third period last night against Cincinnati, they had 2 shots in the third period. Just 13 shots all game. So this is a team where if you hem them in, you can get plenty of offense, plenty of looks at the net. But again, the key is finding the back of the net.
Iowa with a high flip play, and it leads to a chance coming up the middle for Reimers, but Cale Morris able to make the save as Reimers got behind the D and didn't have much time to do much with it, but was able to get a goalward and force Morris to make a save.
Oh, it was the high flip Hail Mary play, and Reimers in behind while being hampered from behind on a good back check. I think that was Jordan Schneider coming back hard, and then the backhand opportunity in which Cale Morris was able to stay in good position, stay calm in the crease, and make the stop.
Bryce Misley to take the draw on the right wing circle for Iowa.
We've seen a lot of toss-outs of face-offs tonight, whether it's APAP or Misley.
Dan Kovacic and Will Glick are linesmen. Iowa wins this draw. Shot from the point, blocked. Diving block made by Schneider. Second shot comes wide off the stick of Linhart. Heartlanders maintain possession. Reimers, right boards, tried to cycle it up to the point, but it's broken up by Seamus Malone. Comes free. Iowa maintains possession and skating in toward the goal, and a sprawling save made by Cale Morris on Cade Oliver. Now the Fuel with the 2-on-1 the other way. Spencer Watson, right circle, backhand feed across, broken up by Iowa. And now they've got numbers the other way, 2-on-2 across the Fuel line. Reimers hitting the trailer. Over to Oliver, left circle, shoots high. And the puck along the far boards. Brent Gates chops at it and collects. Punches it up to center, but a little too far for its intended target. Mike Lee. Gates unable to pick off a pass, but Cedric Lacroix does at center. Quick entry for the Fuel. Here's a feed for Lacroix, a little too far out in front of him, but said he tracks it down in the right corner. Spins past Linhart's check. In behind the net. Tries to stuff it. Gates couldn't quite get to it on the weak side. Pinballing around to the crease. Comes out to Lee. He shoots, and I think he hit the post as Jones was looking behind him, and the puck came out all the way on the other side. Now Chad Yetman, quick re-entry. Feeds Gates. Right circle. Shoots. Stick save. Weak side rebound, score! Jones had no idea where it was after he made the stick save. It came all the way out to the weak side, and Kirill Chaika blasted into the open side. His first goal as a member of the Indy Fuel, and we're tied at 3.
Oh, Andrew, this game went from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds. Chances back and forth. Spencer Watson missed the chance. And then here come the Fuel again. Sustained pressure in the offensive zone. Shot from the boards. And it was Kirill Chaika wasting no time. And I think you said it perfectly, Andrew. It was Hunter Jones. He didn't know where that puck was. That's why he was late traversing the crease from left to right. And Chaika just absolutely blasts that one to the back of the net. And the Indy Fuel have come all the way back to tie this hockey game. After a fury of chances back and forth, A little over halfway through the second period.
Chaika's first goal in the ECHL. Yetman and Gates with the assist. Yetman now has a 2-point night. And we're tied at 3. Iowa sends it in. Morris will try to steer it along, and it was knocked down by Widmar, but rescued by the Fuel. Liam Folks has it poked off of his stick in his own zone. Joe Widmar across to an open wing, and Gordeev has it poked nicely as he was trying to curl and drag past Zulsdorf. The Fuel tried to play it up to the Iowa line, but nobody was home. The pass goes past Liam Folks and all the way down for icing. So 3-3 our score, 6.5 to go, second period.
Well, keep in mind that whole last sequence, Andrew, started with a massive save by Cale Morris on a backdoor opportunity for Cade Oliver. Then a 2-on-1 the other way. Spencer Watson elects to pass and not shoot. In that position, I want Spencer Watson firing that puck at the net 10 times out of 10. Elected to shoot. Nothing happened. The play ruptured. Came back and then back the other way again. It was like a tennis match. That's where the Fuel were able to find a way to get their goal. So a little bit of a track meet on the highway in this second period.
Iowa wins the draw. Linhart's shot is blocked wide. And Liam Folks chops it out to center. Linhart settles it down at his own line. Headmans to the Fuel line. And Misley's pass ahead to Oliver. He tried to send it over to Debian, broken up by the Fuel. Puck loose at the point, and it finally trickles out to center where Misley comes back and gets it and sends it in.
It was a great Superman diving defensive play.
Here's a turnover in front. Misley with a shot all alone. Morris with the save. Rebound loose, and the Fuel able to get to it. And they clear it out to center. 2-on-2 across the line, maybe a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Here's the trailer. Watson shoots high. And the rebound, Karams to Seamus Malone. Over to Gates. He's tripped up along the left wing boards. Crowd wants a penalty, but the arms stay down as Iowa brings it back 2-on-2 the other way. Bringing it into the zone, Cole Golka has it chopped off of his stick. Comes free, shot on goal. Morris makes the save. Golka tracks it down right corner. Up to the point for Kyle Thacker. He'll wrist one that's blocked and held in by Baraldo. Tried to chop it a little further along, and finally the puck is wristed toward the goal. And coming out to make the grab is Cale Morris, and he'll settle things down to get a whistle. 5:16 to go, second period. The Fuel have scored twice in this period to knock this one up at 3. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Hi, this is Jeff Wheeler, business manager of IBEW Local 41. I am proud to represent more than 3,000 union electrical workers in central Indiana. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the annual Circle of Lights, we are proud to power your community. IBEW Local 41 is proud of our union membership and our community leadership.
When you get care at Community Health Network, you're part of our community. And in our community, nothing should get between you and your health, not even the cost of care. When the time comes, our advocacy team will help you figure it out, whether you're uninsured or underinsured, so you can focus on what really matters, your health. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. Get support at ecommunity.com/simply delivered.
Stand by me.
Back to the action with Nick Goldcheck and Andrew Smith with Indy Fuel Hockey.
5:16 to go in the second period. The Indy Fuel and Iowa Heartlanders tied at 3. Jacob Laguerriere got the scoring started for the Fuel, 2:27 into the game, but then Iowa answered with 3 quick goals to go up 3-1 since Chad Yetman and Kirill Chaika have scored for the Fuel to tie it up here in the second period. The period the Fuel have dominated. They've outshot Iowa 15-6 in this frame. 30 shots on goal total for the Fuel through less than 2 periods. That's usually a good games total.
Yeah.
The Fuel iced the puck after winning a defensive zone draw.
And they've just been outworking Iowa in their own zone. I think that's just kind of what it comes down to, Andrew. There's been a lot of chances for the Fuel that they have not been able to capitalize on. I think if they were able to capitalize on a couple of more, the score might be 5 or 6-3 in favor of the Indy Fuel for the chances that they've earned. Not had, they've earned them because of the great work in the offensive zone. And at times, like we talked about coming into this game, at times Iowa just looks completely lost in their own zone. And again, that's what's going to happen when you got a brand new team. We'll see if the Fuel can continue to try and keep that pressure going in the offensive zone and maybe score a couple more goals because of the pressure.
And add to that a young team as well. And so The Fuel bring it to the Iowa line, loose at center, picked off by the Heartlanders. Jack Billings brings it into the zone. Teixeira tries to force it free from him, comes into the left corner. Back diagonal feed, doesn't find its intended target, but Gordeev comes over to hustle and hold it in. His pass ended up getting past Teixeira, and Joe Widmar nearly had a chance to stuff it. Takes it over to the far side. Gordeev, right point. Shoots, gets through, save made, and Morris got a point-blank rebound on Billings.
First shot he absorbed, and then the puck just spit out. And laid on the doorstep for Billings, but a great job collapsing down by the Indy Fuel defense.
Widmar, a weak side feed to a player steaming down the right side. And it, fortunately for the Fuel, didn't connect with Reimers, as he would have been all alone with an open side. Puck loose, Reimers takes it back, takes it to goal, and isn't able to get past a thicket of Fuel players who intercept and chop it back to the Iowa line. Solo tracks it down into zone for the Heartlanders. His pass for Golka doesn't connect, and it will go for icing with 3:50 to go in the second period of a tie hockey game. So our second intermission will bring you the ECHL plays of the week. A lot of top plays from a lot of teams, and the chance to see what else is going on around the league. So that comes up in our second intermission. Face off in the left wing circle. Tommy Apap to take it against Missley. Wins it cleanly. Here's a shot that goes just high off the stick of Liam Folks.
And almost another goal resulting from a face-off one at that face-off dot. That's been the lucky dot to the right of Hunter Jones, where we've seen already 2 goals in this game earlier for Iowa that resulted in goals almost there for the Indy Fuel.
Folks brings it across the line. Back diagonal feed for Apap, blocked on his shot from the high slot. Now Diego Cuglietta forces it free and sends it out in front. Gates with his shot, save made, and then Apap with a turnaround shot on the rebound. And Jones was able to get that one as well. Puck comes into the Fuel zone. Missley handles a bouncing puck, takes it along the left wing boards. In behind the net. Goes to Carlson, right corner. His shot blocked out to the point where the Fuel collect. Gaining center red and firing it in and going for a change is Diego Cuglietta. Jones leads for Constantino, his defenseman. Malone in on the forecheck. Good feed ahead to Carlson, and he'll backhand it in to the Fuel ends. Morris leaves for the defense. The Fuel wind up the breakout. Stretch pass through the neutral zone to Seamus Malone. Right circle, waits for reinforcement. Shoots, save made. Rebound comes free to Spencer Watson. Pops out the left side. Comes up to the point. Schneider to Zulsdorf. One-timer wide. Seamus Malone trying to track the rebound down along the far boards and does. Sends it further along for Brent Gates. Working on Linhart. Those two both go for a tumble. The puck dug free, but handled by Constantino of Iowa. With 2:15 to go in the period. Game tied at 3. Feed through center. It's deflected up to the Fuel line where Zulsdorf tracks it down for Indy. Ahead, the Fuel play it to Spencer Watson. Right circle, sharp angle shot, save made. Rebound tumbles up into the slot. It is put right back high by Teixeira, who is trying to handle a bouncing puck. CJ Ike back up to the point for Teixeira for the Fuel. Walks it down the wall. Reverses it now. Back diagonal feed for Laguerriere. Right circle, Teixeira. Seam pass looking for Ike, but it didn't connect. He collects off the boards, takes it to the corner. Feed a little too far for Spencer Watson. Puck loose along the near boards. Collected by Watson briefly, but forced off of his stick by Joe Widmar. And the Fuel forced to regroup in their own zone. And then a pass tipped into the bench. Right where Luke Flincham is
Look out, little
hanging
Flinchy.
out. Yeah.
Man, he hit the deck. And a good thing, because that puck was coming hard and fast right at him. Well, he just picks it up, dusts it off, and acts like he's done it a million times before as he puts those glasses back on. I think it might have fallen off of his face when he tried to dodge the puck. Some good reactions from the young man.
Luke's been around the rink pretty much since he could walk, as the son of equipment manager Darren Flincham helping out on the bench. Riley McKay brings it into the zone. His pass hits a leg and comes back out to center. 1:19 to go in the second period. McKay again into the zone. Pass doesn't connect with Yetman. Coming back for it is Debian for Iowa. Ahead to Solo. He'll sidestep a check, skate it out to center. Across the red line, across the blue line, self-pass into the right wing corner. Lee tries to tie him up below the goal line, but Solo wins the puck back. Plays it up to the point. Fed around for Gordeev. He shoots deflected wide of the right post. Mike Lee can't get it out.
Yeah, that was Missley who had a good redirect on the backhand as he opened up the stick blade, and the puck went just wide.
Billings tried to play it out in front for Missley, broken up by the Fuel, but Iowa maintains possession. Gordeev shoots through traffic, deflected, save made, rebound, hooked right through the crease by Missley. Comes over to the far boards where the Fuel hop on it. 2-on-3 across the line. Comes McKay, tries to dip the shoulder, and cannot. Feeds Yetman. Left circle, takes it below the goal line. He's ridden off the play by Gordeev, and the Heartlanders able to play it out to center with 17 seconds to go in the period. Widmar across the Fuel line. Self-pass into the left wing corner. Schneider ties him up as the puck in the corner with 7 seconds to go in the period. Squirts free. Liam Folks has it. Feed across with 2, with 1, and the horn will sound as Seamus Malone was bringing it across center red. Fuel and Heartlanders tied at 3 through 2 periods as Chad Yetman and Kirill Chaika provide the goals to knot this one up. Shots on goal in the period, 18 for the Fuel for a total of 33. And 9 for Iowa for a total of 15. Most of those came very late in the period. And so the Fuel and Heartlanders head to the third period, tied at 3. And so we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we will bring you our second intermission show. That comes up right after this. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
When it comes to Hondas, your Central Indiana Honda dealers have plenty to choose from. The fan favorite CR-V, the sleek and stylish Civic Sedan, the extra efficient Insight Hybrid. Kelly Blue Book award-winning stars, all built with hometown pride and made right here in Indiana. Test drive a new Honda today and experience these favorites for yourself. Or shop the latest offers at CentralIndianaHondaDealers.com. What are you waiting for?
Hi, this is Jeff Wheeler, Business Manager of IBEW Local 41. I am proud to represent more than 3,000 union electrical workers in Central Indiana. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the annual Circle of Lights, we are proud to power your community. IBEW Local 41 is proud of our union membership and our community leadership.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Second intermission at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Indy Fuel and Iowa Heartlanders tied at 3. And the scoring summary in the first period, Laguerriere for Indy from McKay and Cuglietta at 2:27, but it was answered by 3 Iowa goals. Missley from Debian and Oliver at 3:37 on the power play. Then Billings from Debian and Widmar at 5:08. Widmar from Oliver at 8:26 in a 4-on-4 situation. It gave Iowa a 3-1 lead after 1, but Chad Yetman scores at 2:12 from Lacroix and Laguerriere. And then Kirill Chaika on the weak side from Yetman and Gates ties it up at 13:44. And so the Fuel, the only 2 goals of the second period. In the second period, each team had an unsuccessful power play. Iowa's now 1 for 3 on the man advantage through 2 periods. The Fuel are 0 for 3 with the man advantage. Iowa also has a goal on a 4-on-4. And so the shots on goal, 18-9 in favor of the Fuel in that second period. And so a good period for the Fuel. I think you've got to like the response after falling down 3-1. The Fuel just continued to pour it on and really dominated that second period. Finally, we're able to find a couple of goals. And I say Hunter Jones does not look comfortable in the Iowa net. It looks like he has been looking around and scrambling and not really had an idea of where the puck is after it hits him on several occasions, and the Fuel were finally able to take advantage of that with that second goal by Chaika.
Well, response is the key word there, Andrew. I mean, the Fuel came out flying in the second period, and a whole lot of shots to very few against. And, I mean, you have to give credit to the team. You knew going into that first intermission they didn't like or love the way that they were scored on. A couple of goals resulting in clean face-off losses in the tail end of the first period. And look, they came out in the second, and they pretty much dominated that period. Now, a couple of great saves for Cale Morris on some good opportunities from the Iowa Heartlanders, but for the most part, the Fuel set some sustained pressure in the offensive zone, opportunities off the rush, and think back to that Kirill Chaika goal where it was just a crazy sequence, by far the most exciting sequence we've seen in this game, where it was a great save by Morris, led to a 2-on-1 for the Fuel, and nothing came of that. Then Iowa came back the other way, and then the Fuel came back the other way again. I feel like I need an oxygen tank after talking about this sequence, but it was just super, super exciting, and a quick shot at the net, huge rebound. Jones didn't know where it was, and Kirill Chaika was there on the far side to be able to pound it home. So those are the things that the Fuel can build off of. A couple of great penalty kills, some good movement and good opportunities on the power play as well. So a very strong period, and I think a period that not just Doug Christensen and the guys, but something that the fans can build off of as well as we head to the third period.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of, as you mentioned, something to build off of. But I think, too, the Fuel will want to play a skating game. If you want to get into a track meet, this team is built to play a track meet. They can grind it out, especially with a huge defenseman they have. But with the speed and the skating ability this Fuel team has, and that's something we've seen in 3 years Doug Christensen has been here, that the Fuel like to play an end-to-end game if you allow them to, and Iowa seems to be more than happy to try to trade chance for chance with them.
And I think knowing Doug Christensen as well as I do, Andrew, I don't think he is going to tell his guys, let's play a track meet. But to your point, they certainly have the ability to do so with the speed that they have and the skill, though his teams over the course of history, and especially since he's been here at Indy Fuel, take tremendous pride in the structure that they play with, both in the offensive zone, the middle of the ice, and the defensive zone as well. But like you said, certainly when the game needs it, and you need to have that back and forth punch, counter punch type of hockey, they got more than enough skill to be able to be successful, not just hang in a game like that, but to be able to score off the rush and be really effective and be a massive threat in transition. So that period, I think, was a great example of that, and this Fuel team can play any which way. And I think a transition from last game on Wednesday to tonight, I think they've been a lot better in the neutral zone. Not nearly as many odd man rushes coming against them. And granted, I think that's because Toledo's a much more skilled team than the Iowa Heartlanders, but a very, very strong period, the middle frame for the Indy Fuel. They have all the momentum going into the third, and we'll see if they can find a way to get that go-ahead goal.
Let's take a quick peek at the out-of-town scoreboard. Newfoundland beat Adirondack 4-1. Darian Plouffe had the game-winning goal in that one for the Growlers. Through two, Toledo leads Kalamazoo 3-2. Reading leads Trois-Rivières 3-1. That's late in the second period. Florida ahead of Maine 1-0 on Blake Winicke's goal. That's through two. Midway through the second, Cody Sylvester has Atlanta ahead of Jacksonville 1-0. Orlando all over Norfolk 6-3. A former Ice player, Cannon Pieper, with the goal in that one. And Fort Wayne leads Cincinnati 1-0 late in the first. Allen leads Wichita 1-0 after one. Rapid City and Utah will face off later. In the National Hockey League, just one game underway right now. The Blackhawks trailing the Jets 2-0 after a period. Paul Stastny and Neil Pionk with the goals for Winnipeg as they head into the second period. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the ECHL Plays of the Week. That's all right after this. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 34th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, official signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2022 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Flow Sports, the exclusive streaming provider of the ECHL; Geico, official auto insurance of the ECHL; the Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Handbid, the official mobile auction app; Honig's, the official partner of the ECHL officiating team; Howie's Hockey Tape, official hockey tape and lace provider; in Glasgow, official puck provider; Migray Group, your source for game-worn jerseys; Sideline Swap, official online marketplace of the ECHL; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider of the ECHL and title sponsor of the 2022 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
From across America's premier AA hockey league, this is the ECHL Plays of the Week.
High slap shot off the glove and in. Now Morgan, he scores! Off the blue line, shot, score! He scores!
Rewrite the record books. A hat trick. Skates in over the line. Deeks shoots. In the slot. Shot. Save. Game is over.
Greetings, ECHL fans, and welcome to another trip around North America's premier AA hockey league with the ECHL Plays of the Week. I am Andrew Smith, the voice of the Indy Fuel. The second week of the 2021-2022 ECHL season featured a number of outstanding moments. We begin in the North Division, where Patrick McNally provided the overtime heroics for the Reading Royals Saturday at Adirondack. With fatigue setting in near the end of the extra session, the 6'2" McNally decided to become the hero. Here's Dylan Coyle on the Royals Broadcast Network.
Left circle, a slapper, saved by Nagel. Oh my goodness. So many tired bodies right here. McNally back out on the 3-on-3. Moves with speed, cuts backhander, score! McNally! Call him McDavid because that was a beauty! The Royals win it in overtime!
The Royals then traveled to Maine on Sunday, where the host Mariners were hungry not just for candy, but for goals on Halloween after they had been shut out the night before. Already leading 2-0 in the first period, the Mariners converted on the power play for the second time in the frame when Justin Brazeau finished off a nice passing play for his first goal in a Mariners uniform.
Master back up to Martin. He fakes the shot, gives it back to Zerda across to the left side. LeBear's in front, they score! There it is, Justin Brazeau, a tap-in right on top of the goal crease. Great puck movement by the Mariners. They're 2 for 2 on the power play, and they lead 3-0.
That was Michael Keeley on the Mariners Broadcast Network. Maine went on to hand Reading its first regulation loss of the season by a 4-1 score. Moving south, the Atlanta Gladiators won their home opener 5-4 over Orlando last Friday. Hugo Waugh led the way with 2 goals, including this backhanded wraparound in the third period.
On the right wing, Nogard skating in. He stops and shoots one wide. Nesbitt picks it up. Backhander picked up by Waugh. Wraparound chance. He scores! Number 2 for Hugo Waugh, and it's 5-1.
That was Mike Folta on the Gladiators Broadcast Network. Waugh's performance marked the first 2-goal effort of his professional career. The Norfolk Admirals and Florida Everblades played a 3-game series in Southwest Florida last week. The Everblades posted their first win of the year on Wednesday in come-from-behind fashion. Here's Mike Kelly on the Everblades Broadcast Network.
Everblades, Jake McLaughlin playing it ahead, working it there, and on the move now is Pendenza driving the net, and a pad save made by Warm. Centering feet, scores! Alex Aliardi!
After the Admirals won the second game, the rubber match of the series went to a shootout. Going into a scoreless final round, Norfolk defenseman Eric Williams was tapped to be the final shooter, and this happened.
Williams to the left, now to the middle. He has speed. Fakes the slapper, takes the shot, and scores! Eric Williams goes upstairs over the glove of Omachka, and the Ads have the lead in the shootout. Eric Williams, you are money!
That was Weston DeWitt on the call on the Admirals Broadcast Network. Dylan Wells would deny Alex Aliardi shortly after to give the Admirals the win. Williams has been lethal for Norfolk this season, scoring a point in every game he has played. On Friday night in Boise, moments after cutting a 2-goal deficit down to 1, the Rapid City Rush won the ensuing draw and sprung Chase Harrison down the right wing. He flipped this wrist shot top shelf to tie the game. It was the second of 3 unanswered goals that powered the Rush to a come-from-behind 5-4 victory over Idaho. Here's Brian Gardner on the Rush Broadcast Network.
And Stephen Bayless has brought Rapid City back within 1 and given the Rush some life. Off the ensuing draw, here comes Harrison! He scores! Chase Harrison, and the game is tied! 2 consecutive shots, and we're square at 4!
The next night, the Idaho Steelheads closed out the month on a high note to split the weekend with the Rush, as they battled back to claim their first overtime win of the season. Rookie sensation Evgeny Aksenchuk had a big weekend, posting 5 points, including this game winner in overtime
just 7 seconds in.
We're underway in overtime. Picked up by Oxenchuk off the faceoff. Rips one. He scores! Game, set, match, Spilko! Evgeny Oxenchuk pops hell. The Steelheads win it 2-1 in overtime.
That's Colin Shook on the call on 1350 KTIK. That was the fastest overtime winner in Steelheads ECHL history and the third fastest in league history. One of the ECHL's two newest teams, the Iowa Heartlanders, hosted 3 games last week at Extreme Arena, allowing the fans in Coralville to continue to get to know the newcomers on this team's inaugural roster. Forward Jack Billings has quickly become one of those fan favorites, converting this brilliant strike to get the Landers a point against Wheeling.
Broken up, and it's out of the zone for the Heartlanders. Here they come, 2-on-1. They have an angle looking net front. Billings backhand. He scores from Gravel. That line's on fire. 2-1 Iowa. 13:45 to go in the second. They convert the mistake.
The rookie Billings has 3 goals, which is tied for the team lead entering the week. That was David Fine on the call on the Iowa Heartlanders broadcast network. The Cincinnati Cyclones' Louis Caparuso returned to the ECHL for the first time after a 7-season absence. And he made an immediate impact by scoring this goal against the Kalamazoo Wings last Friday night. Here's Andrew Mossbrooks with the call on the Cyclones broadcast network.
Right wing Aggie down low. Caparuso in the slot. He shoots. He scores. Welcome back to North America after 7 seasons away from the ECHL. Louis Caparuso gets the game's first goal here tonight, his first of the season.
That goal is Caparuso's first in the ECHL since December 2013. That, combined with Matt Robson's superb play and goal, led the Cyclones to a 1-0 road victory in Kalamazoo, giving Cincinnati its first 2-0 road start since the 2014-15 season. We finished with a long Saturday night in Wichita as the Wheeling Nailers trailed the Thunder 5-2 when the game was delayed for more than 90 minutes due to an ice issue. After the delay, the Nailers took control of the game, scoring 4 times in the third period. The fourth and final goal came from Sean Josling, giving the Nailers a late 6-5 lead. Here's DJ Abasala with the call on Fox Sports 1400 WBBD.
Hossinger wrapping around the back of the net. Maniscalco at the left point. Almeida one-timer. Tip, they score! Sean Josling on the redirection. A power play goal with 3:14 to go. It's 6-5 Nailers.
That's it for this trip around the ECHL. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Plays of the Week. I'm Andrew Smith, wishing you all a great week and great hockey.
When you get care at Community Health Network, you're part of our community. And in our community, nothing should get between you and your health, not even the cost of care. When the time comes, our advocacy team will help you figure it out, whether you're uninsured or underinsured, so you can focus on what really matters, your health. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. Get support at ecommunity.com/simply delivered.
Stand by me.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
The Heartlanders have returned to the ice. The Fuel about to do so for the third period of a game that is tied at 3 here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Along with Nick Olchek, I'm Andrew Smith. Jacob Laguerriere scores his first professional goal. Chad Getman and Kirill Chaika have also scored for the Fuel. The latter two coming to rally Indy back from a 3-1 deficit. And the Fuel really dominant in this game, other than that 5 or so minute stretch of the first period when Iowa scored 3 times. And that has allowed the Fuel to come back. And Nick Olchek, what do you want to see in this third period from this Fuel team?
Oh, Iowa won the first period, Andrew. The Indy Fuel won the second period, so I'm looking for a effort just like the Indy Fuel had in that last period where they're going to work in the offensive zone. And look, if you can outwork Iowa in their own end, you're going to find yourself with chances all night. I mean, you look at the shot totals looking at the scoreboard here at the Great Indiana Farmers Coliseum. 33-15 are the shots. And again, keep in mind, last night for Iowa in Cincinnati, they had 2 shots in the third period. And this is a team, they don't really know how to hold on to leads. Last night they had 3 one-goal leads, let go of all of them, and lost the game. So a great chance for the Indy Fuel. If they can get one early, they could take away that hope that the Islander or the Heartlanders rather are going to win this game. So another key start is going to have to be pivotal.
Fuel will send Brent Gatesline out to start the third period. Iowa wins the draw. And back with it is Adrian Beraldo. Up to the near side, Billings across to Beraldo. He'll skate it up and try to play it off the glass into the Fuel zone. Problem is, the bench was there. There was no glass. So we'll have a face-off at center. We played 14 seconds of the third period, tied at 3. Cedric Lacroix on the draw, but it's won by Iowa's Joe Widmar. Fuel control, however, at center. Lacroix back in his own zone ahead to Riley McKay. He'll tip it in. The goaltender, Jones, wrists it around to Debian. Over to the far boards. Lacroix came in to try to tie him up, but it came back to Beraldo behind his own net. Up to the point, picked off by Schneider, tried to wrist it goalward. Beraldo intercepts. Billings brings it into the Fuel zone. A wrister on goal. Cale Morris calmly makes the save, and the puck gets trapped in his paraphernalia. He'll hold for a whistle. 44 seconds into the third period.
Although Iowa has 3 goals on 16 shots, I think Cale Morris has made some nice saves tonight, Andrew. He's looked fairly calm in the crease and has gotten some really good support from his defenseman and low forward, coming and clearing any loose pucks out of the crease. I think it's been a real positive night, and like I said, he's not going to be overly happy with the numbers and goals against and save percentage up to now, considering the shot totals for Iowa, but he has made some good stops and has been in good position, so I think certainly some positive things so far in this game for Cale Morris to build off of.
Puck loose at the point, held in by the Fuel. Chaika shoots wide from the right point. Puck in along the near boards. Taken by Iowa, sprayed out to center. Chaika comes back for it. D to Teixeira. They'll bring it up the near side. Send it to the Iowa line where Billy Constantino gloves it down. Goes to his D partner, Lynn Hart. Headmans through the neutral zone with speed. Here comes Zach Reimers. Took it to goal. Poked by the goaltender Morris. Puck loose in the high slot. Controlled by Reimers. Turnaround shot blocked from the right wing circle, and the block forced the puck wide of the goal.
And a heck of a back check there by Liam Folks, known for the offensive side of things, who was a standout stud at Penn State in his playing his college hockey days, but a tremendous back check there on Reimers, denying a breakaway chance as he lowered that shoulder and steered him away from the net.
2 minutes gone in the third period of a 3-3 game. Spencer Watson at his own line has the puck hop over his stick. Brent Gates forces it further along, over to the near boards. Pastorius has it taken away by Malone. To Gates, he tried to do something with it as he pulled it into the left circle, picked off by Iowa, and Kate Oliver will fire it in from center ice. Calmly turned aside by Morris. Malone springs it the other way to Spencer Watson, right down Main Street, wrist one wide. Gates hops on the rebound, tried to send it out in front, but it's sticked away by the Heartlanders, and Pastorius brings it the other way. Mike Lee stands him up at the line, and that allows Schneider to get the puck. Lee through center, across the Iowa line, left circle. Lee fans on a shot with Constantino providing the pressure. Over to the near corner, Joe Widmar. So forced away by Riley McKay. Constantino helps it along to Pastorius, but it's forced free by the Fuel. Lacroix sends it in behind the Iowa net to Riley McKay into the left wing corner, a little bit past Zulsdorf, and it comes back to McKay. High slot, up to the point. Teixeira's one-timer goes wide. And the rebound caroms over to the near boards. Zulsdorf takes it into the bottom of the left wing circle. In behind the net. The Fuel with possession. They work it around right half wall. Back diagonal to Teixeira. Left point to Zulsdorf. Looks for a feed through the slot. It's deflected into the right corner, but Lacroix hops on it for the Fuel. To Zulsdorf. Fires from the point. Blocked in front And the Heartlanders get it as far as the line, shoveled back into the slot by Lacroix, collected by Iowa and iced. Face-off coming for the Fuel in the offensive zone with 16:28 to go in the third period of a 3-3 hockey game.
Some real good looks from the Indy Fuel defenseman from the point, shooting for sticks, shooting for redirects and deflections. It was Keone Teixeira sending that puck through the middle of the ice, looking for a drive-by tip from Riley McKay. That one missed, and then a booming shot from the point from Ryan Zulsdorf, and it just stung the back of it. Looked like the left leg, the calf area of Chad Yetman. Took him a while to get up and get back to the bench.
Kirill Chaika, after the draw, tries to take it to goal, ends up plowing over the goaltender as he was checked into the goaltender. That forced the net off its moorings. So we'll have a whistle. Chaika's been really active in this game. He has a goal. The first couple of games, we saw him be really more of a defensive stay-at-home guy, but even with him paired back with Keone Teixeira, he's really been active and taking the puck to goal and making things happen in the offensive zone.
Well, it's all about reading and reacting. Do I have players back to support me to be able to jump into the play? Or in that instance there, he looked up and he saw no Iowa Heartlanders within about 5 feet of the net. He just took it right there. So a great read and react play from Chaika, showing both sides of the coin in which he excels at, both offensively and defensively.
Iowa wins the face-off, played out to center and into the Fuel zone. Chaika comes back to get it. He has the most recent goal in this game, the one that tied it at 3. Comes up the left side, tried to feed it across to Lee, but a little too far for him, picked off by Solo. He'll bring it across the Fuel line and wrist it in. Hits the end boards, comes over to Chaika, tries to headman to Cuglietta. Up the left wing boards into the Iowa zone, puts on the brakes at the left hash. Back diagonal to Mike Lee. Dangles into the bottom of the circle and then backhands one right through the crease.
That was Tommy Apap right there, right at the top of the crease. He would have had a wide open net, Andrew, if he would have been able to connect with his stick, but it just missed.
Golka takes a huge hit from Chaika that separates him from the puck. Folks and Cuglietta 2-on-2 the other way. Cuglietta into the left wing corner. Gordeev staples him into the boards, but Gates comes off the bench to take the puck behind the net to Cuglietta. And Gordeev again wards it free from him. That allows his D partner Baraldo to take the puck. Outlet to Widmar. He'll skate it out to center. Puck loose at center, comes back to Baraldo, and Adrian Baraldo backhands it in just as far as Schneider, however. And the Fuel will tip it back into the Iowa zone.
What a shift there from Kirill Chaika. You mentioned the great offensive chance for him earlier in that shift, Andrew, and then forget separating from the puck. He almost separated the Iowa Heartlander from his soul. Just a massive hit here on the short side, the near side, to the left of Cale Morris, bringing it on both ends of the ice and making a real difference in this third period.
14:40 to go, tied at 3. Heartlanders bringing it through center. Widmar sends it in, sidesteps a check, goes after it in the left wing corner. Zulsdorf gets there, forced rims it around, but it's held in at the point by Constantino. His wrister is blocked out to neutral ice by Seamus Malone. Comes out to Iowa. It's hammered right back in as the Heartlanders go for a change. Ryan Zulsdorf will track it down behind his own net. Outlets to C.J. Ike. Now up to Lacroix. Gains center red along the left wing boards. Wrists it in through both corners. Thacker able to tip it to Oliver. Sprays it out toward the line, and they work it out to center. Maybe some numbers for Iowa. Pastorius has a poke checked very nicely by Leguerrier for the Fuel, and that's allows the Fuel to gain possession.
And that's something the Fuel defensemen have done really good in this third period, is standing up off the rush, shutting off transition plays, and that was Leguerrier with a great read and a good stick denying that play.
Heartlanders bring it in, backdoor feed for Pastorius. It hit him, and then the puck just dropped at the top of the crease, and the Fuel gained possession. Folks across the line, quick 2-on-1 developing, shoots on goal save made, rebound put goalward by Apap and high and wide. Puck loose, stuff attempt from Apap doesn't go. Folks hops on it. Up to the point, Lee fakes the slap shot, takes a wrist shot, blocked up to the point for Chaika. He'll curl back across Lee. One-timer through traffic, and Jones found it, made a stick save, and Kate Oliver tracks the puck down along the far boards and steers it back out to center. The Fuel look to regroup quickly. Cuglietta back into the zone, working with Folks, left boards. Folks along the boards, back out to Cuglietta, top of the circle, punches it back into the left wing corner for Tommy Apap. Apap takes it behind the net, working on Constantino. Cuglietta also trying to dig the puck free as Constantino tries to pin it along the boards. Let's go Fuel, the chant from the crowd as Solo takes the puck for Iowa. And it comes in behind the net. Constantino will settle it down. And outlet to Desbiens, who has a pair of assists tonight. Across for Oliver. Beautiful poke check by Brent Gates. Rink wide feed for Spencer Watson across the line. Left circle, shoots! And a blocker save made by the goaltender Jones.
That might have even been the third post of the night, Andrew.
I think that did hit the post.
Third post for the Indy Fuel.
Here's a shot from the point, wide from Schneider. Brent Gates chips it along the boards, but Constantino intercepts for Iowa. And they're at the end of a long shift. Solo will bring it up through neutral ice, chip it back to the Fuel line where Seamus Mullen will curl back to take it for Indy. Iowa getting a fire wagon change as Schneider headbands to the line. Brent Gates settles it down. Feeds Spencer Watson. He shoots, looking far post from the bottom of the left wing circle. And a beautiful glove save made by Jones. He holds on for a whistle with 11:48 to go in a tie hockey game. This is Indy Fuel hockey.
Remember Krista from Kemper Technology Consulting last year?
What's icing?
Well, she's learned a lot since then.
Get him! Hit him again! Shoot!
And she's become a huge Fuel fan.
Go, Fuel! Woo!
Let the team at Kemper put that same enthusiasm to work for you. Specializing in accounting software support with QuickBooks Professional Certification, Kemper gives you real people solving real problems. They can also help your network infrastructure, too. Call 866-966-5633 or visit KemperTC.com.
Come on, Red! Idiot.
When you get care at Community Health Network, you're part of our community. And in our community, nothing should get between you and your health, not even the cost of care. When the time comes, our advocacy team will help you figure it out, whether you're uninsured or underinsured, so you can focus on what really matters, your health. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. Get support at eCommunity.com/simplydelivered.
Stand by me.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey with Nick Olchek and Andrew Smith.
11:48 to go in the third period. The Indy Fuel and Iowa Heartlanders tied at 3. Shots on goal 3-1 this period in favor of the Fuel. Indy wins the offensive zone draw. Chad Yetman over to the far side for Zulsdorf. Takes it to the right wing corner, back up the boards for Yetman. Right circle shoot, stick save made by Jones. And the Heartlanders punch it out to center where Yetman will settle it down. Trying to feed it ahead to McKay, a little too far for him. Linhart tracks it down for Iowa behind his own net. Able to push it up to Joe Widmar. 2-on-2 with Billings across the line. Try to quick give and go, broken up by the Fuel.
That was a great back check from Chad Yetman, denying it another rush for Iowa.
Lacroix feeds ahead to Lee, curls, drags, then loses the handle, but it comes to Yetman. Left circle, back up to the point for Zulsdorf. In behind the net for Riley McKay. Takes it left corner. McKay protecting the puck as he brings it out to the point to Zulsdorf. Shoots, glove save made by Jones coming across as he saw that all the way through a lot of traffic. And gloves down Zulsdorf's wrist shot that came from the top of the left wing circle.
I think Hunter Jones has had a strong game as well, Andrew, and look, if not for 3 posts, clean. This is a much different hockey game, but as a goaltender, you got to get some luck, and I would say he'd be buying some dinner for the posts, but, you know, since they are inanimate, that wouldn't exactly make sense, but I think he's made some real stellar saves so far to at least give his team a chance, because in this third period, and especially for the majority of the second, Iowa has been really pedestrian in their defensive zone, and if the Fuel continue to play the way that they are, full of effort in the offensive zone, I think it's only a matter of time before they take the lead.
Remember, Iowa played last night as well, and so you wonder about the legs this late in the game. Liam Folks hops on a puck, feeds it across for a shot to goal! Jordan Schneider from the right wing circle after Liam Folks wins the puck. Basically by outracing the Heartlanders to it behind the net. Feeds it across to Schneider. Catch, release, back of the net, and the Fuel have come all the way back from 3-1 down to take a 4-3 lead.
Broadcasters and fortune tellers, Andrew. I think that's our other side job. What a play here. Around the net, Liam Folks think he was looking to get that puck to Diego Cuglietta, and he just couldn't handle it on his backhand. Ends up going all the way across, and Jordan Schneider with a heck of a shot. No chance for Hunter Jones as it goes right up high, short side over the glove. But a great read by Folks around the net, has his head up the whole way, and a great feed that ends up going through the slot, and the Indy Fuel have a 1-goal lead.
Folks now with points in 3 consecutive games, and all 3 games he's played this season. This one an assist. And Teixeira will get the second assist on the goal by Schneider at 9:24 of the third period. And the Fuel with another chance. Spencer Watson taking a one-timer, and Jones coming across to make a save as Watson was below the left wing circle when he fired that on goal.
Oh, that puck has really been finding 16 in gray all night. Spencer Watson, as of now, credited with 7 shots, probably about 8 or 9 after that shift. I think he just towed the puck, Andrew. He didn't get a lot on it, and the goaltender was coming from left to right. And Spencer Watson shot it back into the goaltender. If he puts it short side, it's possibly 5-3 Indy, but Spencer Watson has had a real good game. Just has yet to find the back of the net.
Lacroix wins the draw cleanly back to Lee at the left point. Lee holding, feeds it further along the wall for Yetman. Chad Yetman into the high slot, curls the forehand, shoots, blocked. And it comes out to neutral ice. Tracking it down is Mike Lee. Was solo on him. Lee, stretch pass, diagonal to the line, feeds across for Lacroix. Shot, positional save made by Jones on the shot from Lacroix, left circle. Fuel tried to play it up to the point, but Billings intercepted and tipped it back into the Fuel zone, where Kirill Chaika tries to sidestep Billings' check. Goes behind his own net for Lee. Will backhand it up to center. Puck played back to the Fuel line, settled down by Mike Lee, playing his offside. As all 6 Fuel defensemen are left-hand shots. And the Fuel send it in, go for a change. 9:15 to go, third period. Indy leads 4-3. Constantino for Iowa. Headmans to the Fuel line. And Oliver gets past a check. Tried to feed it across for Pastorius. Didn't get through. Came all the way through to the point, however, for Beraldo, who shot high and wide. Constantino tracked it down at the point. His shot was blocked out to neutral ice by Cuglietta and sprayed back into the Iowa zone.
It was a good second and third effort as well from Diego Cuglietta. Didn't come up with the puck the first time, stayed in the battle, was able to move that puck out of the zone past Constantino. Great work to allow the Fuel to go to offense.
Win the puck along the boards, feed it up top for Teixeira, whose shot goes wide. Now here's a shot from Laguerriere that goes high and wide from the left point. Teixeira punches it behind the net, looking for a pop. Cuglietta gets there first, but it's taken away by Iowa and played back out to center as far as Laguerriere, who wrists it back in and goes for a change.
Well, the Fuel have even turned up the intensity, Andrew, since going up by a goal. I've been very, very impressed with what the Fuel have been able to take to the Heartlanders in this third period. They haven't let off the gas, and it's real easy to let off the gas when you get the lead and just say, okay, we're going to coast home. That's not the style of Doug Christensen and this Indy Fuel team. They have continued to get pucks in, retrieve them back, and then go to work in the offensive zone. It has been a textbook third period.
Faceoff will be back in the Fuel zone with 8:16 to go in the third. Fuel lead 4-3. The shots are 41-16 in favor of Indy. And we'll see, Brent Gates was in the circle to take the draw, but Tommy Apap is going to head back to do so against Joe Widmar. Widmar has a goal and an assist in this game. And comes back to the point. Shot blocked by the Fuel's Jordan Schneider. Comes back out to the point. Shot goes wide. And Linhart tracks it down for Iowa at neutral ice. Just sends it rink wide for Widmar at the Fuel line. Curls back to the red line to gain some speed. Spencer Watson steps up on him as Widmar sends it into the zone. Puck rimmed around. Hits a stanchion. It just drops into the high slot. But only guys there wearing gray sweaters for the Fuel. Zulsdorf gains the line. Drops it for Apap. Back to Zulsdorf. Try to backdoor feed across for Spencer Watson. It hit one of the Iowa players and came in on goal. And Jones had to make an emergency save and cover it up.
You know what's crazy, Andrew, is the go-ahead goal in last night's game was very similar to that play when Iowa took on Cincinnati last night, where it was an odd man rush. A pass from one side of the ice to the other, got caught up in a sliding defenseman for Iowa, and then he ended up barreling into the net. It was counted a goal. Almost happens there as Jake Linhart went down full Superman to try and deny that pass across the way. And the puck almost finds its way past the goal line, but another good chance for the Fuel and an offensive zone draw to follow.
7:41 to go. Third period, the Fuel lead 4-3. Cedric Lacroix to take the draw. Right wing circle. And it's won by Iowa. Solo up the far side. Plays it up to the point, picked off by the Fuel. Good poke check. Then Cedric Lacroix took a heck of a hit from Solo after C.J. Ike kept the puck alive. Held in at the point by Lee briefly, but it's jammed past him by Reimers. Ike back at his own line, pushes it past Reimers, ahead to Chaika. Pass for Yetman doesn't connect, but it does go in behind the Iowa net. Solo gets to it. Pass doesn't connect with Thacker. Chaika wrists one in from the point that's blocked over the net. Yetman will track it down, wrist it around the carousel to Lacroix. Left half wall. Skeets in left circle. Looks for an opening. None there, so plays it back to Lee. He tried to wrist it forward, but fouled it off. Reimers knocked it down, and Constantino picks it off for Iowa. 4-3 Fuel, 6:50 to go. Constantino sends it in. And back to get it is Chaika. Headmans to the neutral zone. Kuglietta's pass is picked off, but Apap intercepts back for the Fuel. It's loose, comes back to the Indy line where Mike Lee tracks it down. Chips it off the glass, back out to center into the Iowa zone. And Gordeev, Minnesota Wild contracted player, skates it up. Sends it across for Oliver. Tries to sidestep a check and does across the Fuel line, but then loses the puck. Liam Folks took it, couldn't quite corral it, and ended up wristing it in on his own goaltender where Morris covers up.
And that's a second great back check in this period, Andrew, for Liam Folks. Earlier denied a great chance. And again there. So the dedication to defense and the back check for Liam Folks has been a real point of emphasis throughout the entire course of this game, and a guy who is counted on to provide offense at the collegiate level and now in the professional ranks. When you see him committing like that to the back check, it gives everybody a little bit more energy. So a couple of great defensive plays denying some Iowa chances.
And Liam Folks, 103 points in 137 games in 4 years at Penn State. Led them to a pair of Big Ten titles. And he's got a 3-game scoring streak going to start his professional career. Iowa brings it into the zone. Jack Billings, another impressive rookie, brings the puck in offside. Billings has a goal tonight. He's got 4 goals and 3 assists in 7 games. There, he brought it in offside. 5:58 to go. Third period. The Fuel leading Iowa 4-3. And we'll take a break, come back with the exciting conclusion right after this. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Midwest Sport and Spine is the official chiropractor of the Indy Fuel. Go where the Fuel go for sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Midwest Sport and Spine offers state-of-the-art technology, chiropractic physical therapy, athletic training, and massage therapy all under one roof. And yes, we take your insurance. Take advantage of our Fuel Fan discount for a $59 introductory massage offer. Midwest Sport and Spine, sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Go to MidwestSportandSpineCenter.com to schedule your appointment now.
Hi, this is Jeff Wheeler, business manager of IBEW Local 41. I am proud to represent more than 3,000 union electrical workers in central Indiana. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the annual Circle of Lights, we are proud to power your community. IBEW Local 481 is proud of our union membership and our community leadership.
Back to Indy Fuel Hockey with Nick Olchek and Andrew Smith.
5:58 to go, third period. The Indy Fuel lead the Iowa Heartlanders 4-3 as the Fuel have rallied from a 2-goal first period deficit to take the lead. Second period goals by Chad Yetman and Kirill Chaika, and a third period tally by Jordan Schneider have made this happen. And the Fuel have really been dominant. They've allowed Iowa only 2 shots this period. Here's a chance and a goal! Chad Yetman, as the Fuel won the draw at their own line, fed it up into the Iowa zone. Yetman split the D, got behind him, and rips it past Jones. And the Fuel have scored 4 straight. It's 5-3. Chad Yetman on a quickly developing play.
Great balance even better acceleration from Yetman. You win a draw, D to D, quick pass, and watch that from Chad Yetman as he went right around the Iowa defenseman. Tough to see. I didn't bring my telescope to see the Jumbotron and see the numbers, but a heck of a play. Quick transition. All starts with the face-off win. And since taking the lead, the Fuel have only continued to put their foot on the gas pedal a little bit more. Now they got a little bit of breathing room. It's 5-3.
So Yetman gives the Fuel a 2-goal lead. Zulsdorf and Schneider with the assists.
A really nice quick move too, Andrew. A little backhand, forehand, 5-hole action. Catching Hunter Jones with the wickets wide open. Just a beautiful play all the way around. And the Fuel now with a little bit of breathing room.
Golka took a shot, and it ended up going wide. And now Leguerrier forces him into the boards, forces the puck back to the Iowa line, where it's picked off by Malone, waits for a teammate to get onside, and brings it into the zone. Stops at the right hash, trying to send it across for Spencer Watson, a little too far for him. In behind the net for Brent Gates. Tracks it down to the right wing corner. Gates takes it up the right wall, into the high slot. Still on the puck now, loses it, but tracks it back down. Sidesteps a check behind the net. Gates on a tour of the attacking zone, tried to take it to goal. It was loose in the crease as Gates lost possession, and then it pinballed off a leg, and Jones found it and fell on it to get a whistle with 4:40 to go in the third period. Fuel leading 5-3. Chad Yetman now a pair of goals. Ryan Zulsdorf and Jordan Schneider had the assist on his most recent one. Schneider with a goal and an assist this period as well. Getting offense from the defensemen. Chaika and Schneider and Leguerrier all with goals. Zulsdorf with an assist tonight as well, and as does Keone Teixeira. So when four of your defensemen get on the score sheet and one of them is not Mike Lee, that's a pretty good night.
And it's not just the offense, Andrew. It's defending off the rush in their own zone, being there to provide support for the goaltender when there are loose pucks around the crease. I think the defensemen have been a real bright spot for the Indy Fuel in this game. We've seen some great performances up and down the lineup, but I think if you were to hand the torch to someone, certainly has got to be the defense corps.
Fuel win the draw. Schneider's shot is blocked. Comes up to Riley McKay at the left point, who had filled for Schneider. Tries to take it into the high slot. Feed Yetman, who missed stick handles in the left wing circle. Iowa plays it out to center. McKay tracks back to take the puck as Oliver was hunting it. Schneider back at his own line. Banks it off the boards for Riley McKay. Softly ahead to the Iowa line. Hops over Yetman's stick. And it's taken by Solo. And now a stick is knocked out of Yetman's hands. He and Solo both lose their sticks and both go to the bench for either a new twig or a replacement. And the Heartlanders in all of that find the puck, and a pass doesn't connect. They ice it with 4:01 to go in the game.
It was a coming together between Riley McKay and Jeff Solo, and McKay was looking to take a run. Never really connected. Both guys head back to the bench, grab some new lumber, and the Fuel with an offensive zone draw. 4:01 to go in the third.
Tommy Apap to take the draw in between Cuglietta and Folks. The Fuel leading by 2. Indy trailed at 1 point 3-1 in this game. Apap wins it cleanly back to Lee. Skates it in along the boards. Feeds Cuglietta. Left circle over across to Chaika coming down the right side, but he didn't handle the pass cleanly. Lee sends it into the left wing corner for Apap. Working on Linhart. And it comes free right circle. Feed up top for Folks. Reverses it left side Lee. Back diagonal feed for Folks. Doesn't handle it cleanly, but finds it on the forehand over along the far boards. He's pushed into the boards. That allows Linhart to come take the puck for Iowa. He's forced back behind his own net and finally is able to outlet to Pastorius. Rink wide feed for Billings. Brings it into the zone. And crowd wanted an offside, but it wasn't coming. Puck squirts free, high slot, controlled by Debian. Out to the point for a shot from Gordeev, and Morris had to make a tough save on it. The other way, Folks will fire it in on goal from the neutral zone and go for a change. 3 minutes to go. 5-3 Indy. Malone sends it forward. It's taken away by Iowa. Rink-wide feed to the Fuel line. Schneider pokes it free for Teixeira. Up the near side, Watson looking for Malone coming down the middle. And the pass didn't connect. Gates tracks it down, right corner. Gates working the half wall. Up to LeGarrier. To the left circle, Teixeira skates in, shoots, looking for traffic. It didn't get all the way through as Seamus Malone was on the doorstep. Malone battling for the puck along the near boards. It comes free to him now behind the net. Sends it out in front, looking for Brent Gates, but his stick was tied up. Joe Widmar tracks the puck down and takes it out to center for Iowa. Widmar, who plays junior hockey here for the Indiana Ice back in 2012-13, as it knocked free, but Linhart collects along the far boards. 2 minutes to go, and the Fuel doing a good job of not letting Iowa pull the goaltender in, getting a really good chance off of a turnover for C.J. Ike and forcing Jones to make a tough save on a shot from the top of the blue paint. Zulsdorf at center. Pass picked off by Linhart. Brings it into the Fuel zone with Golka. Tried to center it for Linhart, broken up by Schneider. Here comes the goaltender, sixth attacker coming on for Iowa with 1:37 to go. The Fuel gained possession. Lacroix can't quite corral it though, and it's held into the zone by Widmar, collected by the Fuel, sent all the way down. Icing is called, and Ryan Zulsdorf is saying, hey, that, I make a Jordan Schneider saying, hey, that got deflected. That shouldn't be icing, but it's going to be. So the Fuel will have a face-off in their defensive zone, but Iowa's going to take its timeout here with 1:27 to go in the third period, trailing 5-3 with a goaltender pulled.
Well, the Heartlanders who really haven't seen a lick of constant pressure in the offensive zone in this third period. Same can be said for the latter half of the second. It has been all Indy. And one thing I've been really impressed with Doug Christensen's team is that they didn't let off the gas, Andrew. They got the lead in the third, and they kept trying to build off of it. They tried to make it 5. They tried to make it 6. They tried to make it 7. They just kept coming at you, whether it was Brent Gates or Diego Cuglietta or Spencer Watson or a numerous amount of the defense corps that has contributed on both ends of the ice. And this is the response that you were looking for in a game that you played kind of meh against Toledo earlier in the week on Wednesday. But they have come out in a big way, and they got down 3-1, but they have come back in a big way, storming back to score 4 in a row. And they look to close this game out as both coaches have their dry erase boards out. What are the roles and responsibilities if we win the draw? What are the roles and responsibilities if we lose the draw? As the faceoff will take place to the left of Cale Morris.
The Fuel will send Cedric Lacroix, Chad Yetman, Ryan Zulsdorf. Lacroix is going to take the draw. Jordan Schneider is out there, and C.J. Ike. Widmar to take the draw for Iowa, which has the goaltender pulled. Fuel win the draw. Schneider fans on the outlet. He and Zulsdorf go to try to tie the puck up. Squirts free behind the net. Comes to Yetman. Outlets to Lacroix. Try to turn around. Drops it for Yetman. He'll bring it out to center. Feathers it up through the neutral zone to Ike. Plays it to the Iowa line, where it's settled down by the Heartlanders. 1:07 to go as Linhart brings it through center. Over to the near boards for Desbiens. The dump in hits a linesman, comes to Zulsdorf. He sends it toward the goal. It's wide, but Folks is going to beat out the icing. Tried to stuff it once, twice, wouldn't go. Malone will try with the empty net, had a stick tied up. It's pinballing around, comes back to Liam Folks. He tries to stuff it. This time he does. The Fuel score, an empty netter, and that will put the cherry on top of this one. Liam Folks has scored a goal in 3 consecutive games, and the Fuel lead at 6-3.
Oh, a guy who is really starting to find his stride for the Indy Fuel. That's Liam Folks. Not just the offense, Andrew, but the defensive work that he's done all game long, being sound in his own zone, working extremely hard, effort-filled shifts of coming back, providing some defensive support. And a lot of guys were that are deserving of an empty net goal. I think he's at the top of the list for everything he's done tonight for the Indy Fuel, and they have put this game to bed 6-3.
40 seconds to go. Puck sent back to the Iowa line. Coming back to get it is Gordeev. He'll play it up the far side to Solo. He's ridden off the play. Final half minute of this when the Fuel surrendered 3 consecutive early to fall down 3-1, but have responded with 5 consecutive goals. Here's C.J. Ike back into the zone. Tied up at the top of the right wing circle. Tries to spin to the forehand and then tries to deliver a hit on Gordeev, who's much taller than he is. Final 5 seconds. Chaika gloves it down. Plays it to the Iowa line. And that'll do it. The Indy Fuel with their first home victory of the year as they rally from a 2-goal deficit to beat the Iowa Heartlanders 6-3. The Fuel players pour off the bench to congratulate goaltender Cale Morris, who posts his first ECHL victory. And the Fuel moved to 2-2 on the season with a really dominant performance. They outshoot Iowa 47-18 in this game. They allowed just 3 shots in the third period, en route to a 6-3 victory. The Fuel equal a season high for goals in a game as well with 6. And so a really impressive performance by the Fuel. Bring you our post-game show. The 3 stars come up momentarily, and then we will take a break and then wrap it up. But anytime you look at the shot clock and you see 47-18, you've more than doubled them up. That is a really impressive performance. I think it just shows how dominant the Fuel were in this one.
And if not for a couple of posts, Andrew, and a couple of chances missed, the Fuel very well could have done what the Toledo Walleye did to the Iowa Heartlanders last week, and that was put up double digits. But regardless, anytime you could score 6 goals in a game, you know you're doing things right. And some great contributions from the back end, from the key guys in the forward group. And the Indy Fuel skate away with their second win of the season.
And it's a nice high note to go out on before you go on a 5-game road trip that will commence Sunday in Wheeling, and then the Fuel will head to Cincinnati on Tuesday, then Iowa, Kalamazoo, and Toledo next weekend. And so the 3 stars, Liam Folks, the number 3 star with a goal and an assist. He had the assist on the game winner to Jordan Schneider and really made that play happen. Jacob Leguerrier with the 2nd star. He had a goal and an assist. He had the first goal of the game. The number 1 star is going to be Chad Yetman with a pair of goals and an assist to lead the Fuel to a 6-3 victory. And Chad Yetman will be ringside with Scott Allen momentarily after he tosses the T-shirt into the crowd. Chad Yetman with a 2-goal game for the Fuel. His first as a member, his first as a professional, as a matter of fact. And here's Chad ringside with Scott Allen.
This team compared to Wednesday for sure. This team really came to life tonight.
We showed what we can do. First period's been slow, but we battled back, stayed positive, and there's many minutes that kept the numbers like that.
You were skating your heart out tonight. I was watching you. You were involved in everything tonight, it seemed like.
Yeah, my legs felt good. I just kept going and got a little lucky, and yeah, it was a good game for all of us.
All right, we will see you in our next home game. Fans, make some noise for your number 1 star of the game, Chad Yetman.
Chad Yetman with Scott Allen ringside as the Indy Fuel defeat the Iowa Heartlanders 6-3. We're going to take our final break of the night. When we come back, we'll bring you our post-game show. We'll wrap this one up, give you the scoring summary, and get you ready for this 5-game road trip the Fuel are about to embark on. Well, it comes up right after this. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
This is Dr. Ram Yaletti, Chief Physician Executive at Community Health Network. I know that for a lot of you, COVID-19 has changed your day-to-day lives in some pretty dramatic ways. But as things are progressing, there's one thing we sincerely hope you'll continue to do just as before, and that's to seek medical care when you need it. So please, focus on getting the care you need, and we'll focus on keeping you safe while you do.
There's no safer place to be. Learn more at ecommunity.com.
Stand by.
Exceptional care, simply delivered.
If you're looking for an exciting night of hockey, visit the Indiana Farmers Coliseum to help cheer our Indy Fuel to victory. If you're looking to score a great deal on business insurance, look no further than Indiana Farmers Insurance. The Indy Fuel chose Indiana Farmers Insurance because they wanted a local business that understands local business. It's a partnership that's truly worthy of a hat trick. To find an independent Indiana Farmers Insurance agent near you, visit indianafarmers.com.
Don't miss a second of the action. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
6-3, the Indy Fuel defeat the Iowa Heartlanders tonight in Iowa's first ever visit to the Indiana Farmers Coliseum, and the first visit to Indy for a hockey team from Iowa since 2014 in the Clark Cup final, when the guy sitting next to me was part of the Waterloo Blackhawks, who played the Indiana Ice back at the old Pan Am Pavilion, which no longer has some ice.
What a team that was.
That was a tremendous hockey team. And this Iowa Heartlanders team, they're young. You can tell they're putting it together. They've got some talent on this team. But tonight, after surrendering some early goals, the Fuel just kept the foot on the accelerator. And you just kind of felt the tide turning. If they could get this thing tied up, that they would eventually be able to pull away, and that's exactly what happened.
And the timely scoring, and you heard that great post-game interview with Scott Allen, with Chad Yetman, and look, I mean, he just said they were well aware that they didn't play a great first period, but they bounced back, and that says a lot about a team early in the year. If you can learn those lessons and learn from games like this, it's going to serve you really well come the latter portion of the season when you're playing the most important hockey in the games. I wouldn't say mean more, but certainly maybe have a bigger impact in the points for the standings. But I think that interview just kind of encompassed this game is, yeah, they didn't have a great first period, down 3-1 after the first, but we're out shooting Iowa 15-6. They get back into the game in the second, a great response. And I don't think in that first intermission, I don't think there were any choice words being spoken or Doug Christensen having to go into the dressing room and scream and yell. It was just an understanding, like, let's take a deep breath. Let's get back to our game. Let's try and pressure these guys in the offensive zone. And look, I mean, they had a tough game last night against Cincinnati where they were outshot very similarly to what it was like in this game. It wasn't quite 47-18 like it was here tonight, but still severely outshot last night was Iowa for the Cincinnati Cyclones. So look, This is a character win for the Indy Fuel, and you had contributions up and down the lineup. Heck of a night for Spencer Watson. He walks away with 0 points, but he had 8 shots on goal. He was very active, very involved offensively. A couple of great chances in the offensive zone. +4 for Cedric Lacroix. And the one thing I've noticed, Andrew, looking at the score sheet and the score box here, every defenseman for the Indy Fuel had at least 1 shot on goal. Chaika with 3, Zulsdorf with 2, Schneider with 1, Mike Lee, of course, always involved offensively, 5 shots on net, and then 1 for Laguerriere and Keone Tekshira as well. That, to me, shows that this team is starting to get it. Under Doug Christensen, you know the defensemen are going to be active, and when they can contribute offensively with shots on the net, jumping into the rush, that's a recipe for success for this Indy Fuel team. But I love the response after the first period. Would have been easy for them just to sit down and die. They didn't do that. They came back in the second and finished it in the third.
12 different skaters had at least a point tonight for the Fuel. And, of course, Jordan Schneider with a goal and an assist. Chad Yetman with 2 goals and an assist. Liam Folks and Jacob Laguerriere with a goal and an assist each as well. And Cedric Lacroix with a pair of assists, and as you mentioned, a +4 on the night for the Fuel. Let's go over the scoring summary. It starts with Jacob Laguerriere, his first professional goal after he had played a couple of games with the Rockford Ice Hogs, a rookie out of the Ontario Hockey League where he played for Sault Ste. Marie, and signed with Rockford this offseason, and after starting last year with Laval and playing a little bit with them in the Montreal Canadiens organization, he comes, scores a goal in his first game, I think his first shift of the game as well. Riley McKay and Diego Cuglietta had the assists, giving the Fuel a 1-0 lead. But Iowa answered a minute 10 later, right off a face-off. They got a goal from Bryce Misley on a rebound. Debian and Oliver had the assist at 3:37 on the power play, 4 seconds into a power play to tie it at 1. And Jack Billings gave Iowa a 2-1 lead with his 4th of the season at 5:08 from Debian and Widmar. And then Widmar made it 3-1 from Cade Oliver at 8:26 of the first. And you felt like the Fuel needed to regroup a little bit as they'd taken a heck of a haymaker. They really put the foot on the gas pedal, dominated the rest of the first period, hit a post, weren't able to get the equalizer, but in the second period, Chad Yetman scored his first goal of the game, end of the season, from Lacroix and Laguerriere at 2:12, and then Kirill Chaika tied it up from Yetman and Gates on a weak side rebound at 13:44 to make it 3-3. And then in the third, Jordan Schneider with a game winner from Folks and Teixeira at 9:24. Yetman is second of the game from Zulsdorf and Schneider on a face-off play from their own blue line, springing Yetman past the D at 14:10, and the Liam Folks, an empty netter, his third of the season, 3 consecutive games with a goal for Folks from Lacroix and Malone at 19:13, made it 6-3. Cale Morris with the win, 15 saves on 18 shots. Hunter Jones made 41 saves, but took the loss in this one. The Fuel moved to 2-2 on the season. Iowa now 1-5-1. They are winless now in 6 consecutive games. And Indy was 0 for 3 on the power play. Iowa was 1 for 3 in the shots on goal. Again, 47-18 in favor of the Fuel. Just a dominant performance by Indy. And eventually it showed on the scoreboard in this 6-3 win. And we're talking about, guys, you mentioned Liam Folks and really the 200-foot game. Yeah, we know he can score. He did that at Penn State and has shown that early. But I really like Chad Yetman's game, his possession game. He's rewarded with a pair of goals and an assist tonight, but he does a good job being strong on the puck, winning pucks, and really driving possession on his line. And he has been really impressive here early in the season. We saw him a little bit last year in a couple of stints, but I've really liked him. And it doesn't show up on the score sheet, but Cedric Lacroix always seems to be around the puck and doing good things.
And that's a guy, Cedric Lacroix, who plays in every situation, Andrew. I mean, he's a penalty killer. He plays the net front on the power play, and, of course, is going to be out there in a lot of other situations. 5-on-5, he took a face-off at the end of the game. So when you can have these Swiss Army knife type of players that have the trust of Doug Christensen, that's going to allow those guys to be able to be out there and play in the most important times of the game. And I would absolutely agree with you, Chad Yetman. He's a guy that we saw a little bit last year. Was very impressed with him. Not the biggest guy. He's a little bit undersized, but it's that possession game that you had mentioned. Doesn't get knocked off the puck very easily. And we saw on his first goal just an outstanding job with that low center of gravity. I mean, he was pretty much at a standstill. Not exactly a standstill, but going slow to receive the puck, accelerate past an Iowa defenseman, and then go in and make a perfect move, backhand, forehand, 5-hole right between the legs of Hunter Jones. I think that kind of epitomizes what Chad Yetman is all about. And I think he is going to be a real important player moving forward for the Indy Fuel, a top-line type of guy that can get it done at both ends of the ice. So he had a great game. Lacroix, another nice game. But when your defenseman can contribute as much as the Indy Fuels did, Chaika tying the game and then Jordan Schneider with the game-winning goal eventually, that is a heck of a night for the Indy Fuel defenseman, and something that Duncan Dalmo and Doug Christensen are going to be extremely happy about. If you can get that type of contribution from the back end, that means it makes life a little bit easier on the forwards. And so we'll see if the defenseman can keep the great run of form going on this long road trip.
Production from the blue line. 5 of the 6 defensemen had points tonight. The one that didn't was Mike Lee, who's he is the Fuel's best offensive defenseman, and he had 5 shots tonight. So just a good performance, working it from low to high and driving the offense from the point by the Fuel's defenseman. Partner, 5-game road trip upcoming, so it'll be a couple weeks before we see each other again. But big road trip coming up as the Fuel basically will take a tour of the division. They'll face everybody on this road trip except Fort Wayne in the division. They'll go to Wheeling on Sunday, Cincinnati on Tuesday, and then Iowa, Kalamazoo, and Toledo next weekend before returning here to face the Comets for the first time this season on November 17th. That'll begin the first of 3 home games in 4 nights, as Wheeling and Kalamazoo will be in here on the 19th and 20th as well. So enjoy the next couple of weeks, and we'll see you when the Fuel return to the Indiana Farmers Coliseum, as well as our great fans here in just a shade under 2 weeks, 12 days.
Well, Andrew, it's always a pleasure, and hopefully the Fuel can rack up a couple of wins as they go through the Central Division ringer over the next little while. Some great hockey games coming up on Flow Hockey, so make sure the fans tune in to see those home broadcasts, and Andrew and I will be back as soon as we can with the next Indy Fuel home game.
Absolutely. The next broadcast from the Indiana Farmers Coliseum on our audio stream will be on Wednesday, the 17th of November, when the Fort Wayne Comets come to the Indiana Farmers Coliseum with the airtime at 6:45, face-off at 7:05. Of course, we'd love to see you here. Get your tickets at IndyFuelHockey.com, the Indiana Farmers Coliseum box office, and all Ticketmaster outlets. And, of course, you can watch all of the upcoming road games as well on Flow Hockey. Until then, for Nick Olchek, this is Andrew Smith. A happy night for the Fuel. They win at 6-3. Good night. So long, everybody.